Yes, welcome to the Virgin Australia Sunday Soapbox. A big day for Tex Walker. First game as the Crows captain. He's had a big build-up. He was injured the year before last, came back, and so is Andrew Swallow, and he's in his fourth season as North Melbourne captain. A lot expected from both these clubs this year. North maybe again pushing for top four, and the Crows may be back into the eight. Well, the soapbox, Lee, the big issues from Lee Matthews. Welcome to the Adelaide Oval, by the way.
It's great for football to be back. The downside, of course, is there's already 5 teams that are going to have a downer because they lost this round, but that's what's going to be happening now for the next 6 months.
Round one, but round one has a life all of its own, as we so well know. So North Melbourne, top four last year. We sort of forget that slightly, don't we? Rory Sloane ran into his parents today. Brandon and Sandy, they were having a coffee where I was, and they said that Tex Walker's really nervous today, but they're looking forward to a big game from him. So looking forward to the two teams coming out. They'll be doing that very, very shortly. Betts over 50 goals last year. Will it be Betts or will it be Thomas at the other end? So many good duels, including Jacobs versus Goldstein, right in the middle. All eyes on Dangerfield and Walker. And, of course, for North Melbourne, their litany of stars. Coming back with the teams coming out just after this.
It's the beginning of a new era in Adelaide. Today, rookie coach and master tactician Phil Walsh takes control.
At the back, Walsh and a screamer.
Walsh was a talented wingman for Collingwood, Richmond and Brisbane back in the 80s. But now it's at the Crows where he's looking to make his mark, putting the entire list on notice on day one.
Success doesn't come looking for you. You've got to chase it.
The Crows have a star-studded midfield and a potent forward line, but it's in defence where Walsh's men will thrive in 2015. The back six, led by reigning best and fairest Daniel Talia, will undergo a massive test first up against last year's preliminary finalist, North Melbourne. A second finals appearance saw North confirm to the football world what Brad Scott already knew.
Oh, that is brilliant!
That his Kangaroos are a force to be reckoned with.
Snap goal! He's got it!
Big wins against the Bombers and the Cats in September proved just that.
That is a beautiful kick.
Their challenge now is to back it up. The veterans are primed, last year's revelations are ready, but it's the new faces many believe hold the key to North's top four chances. Jared Waite and Sean Higgins bring over 300 games of experience. A new season brings new hope. For today's combatants, hope is burning bright.
Yes, you feel like they have recruited to maybe take that next step up. Got to a prelim last year. In comes Higgins, in comes Waite. They're a very experienced team, an exciting team, North Melbourne. Hard to get a handle on. They've never won a round one match under Brad Scott, but they won't be thinking about that right now. Lindsay Thomas, the goal kicking forward. As we welcome you to the Adelaide Oval, Sunday footy with Jude Bolton and also Lee Matthews. What's your take on these two teams?
Well, I think North Melbourne, they got the 4th spot last year, but I think they'll be doing well to maintain their 4th spot ranking, to be honest. I mean, they've recruited Jared Waite, experienced, a veteran. Crows, 11-11. I'm not sure where they're going, up or down.
Oh, I think the Crows list is actually primed. I think that they've underperformed, and as we've seen, this team, North Melbourne, actually stopped their run at the finals last year, and that's what cast the last stone on Sanderson's career, I guess, as well. So 2 lists that are primed, and North got their spike and jump last year. Let's see how they go.
It looks an even money game. We're going to find out a lot about the two teams today. We're going to find out a bit more about Phil Walsh too as we go on. I mean, 20 years as an assistant, but we didn't really get to know him. But now as a senior coach, we are.
I think there's an element of weirdo in all of us as people who want to be senior coaches and put themselves under this sort of microscope.
Coming through is Walsh. A hand pass from Walsh to Richardson. Back to Walsh again. Can the Collingwood winger score? It's a great goal, Philip Walsh.
I grew up in country Victoria and it was such a part of the community, playing footy in the morning and in the afternoon going down and watch the Hamilton senior team play as well. So it's been in my blood for a long time. I just love the game. When I finished playing, I got a job at Geelong as a fitness instructor, so it was a part-time job then. and then slowly being the runner as well. It was a nice go-between between the coaches and the players. And then I was lucky enough to get asked by Mark Williams to come and join his coaching panel in Port Adelaide. Yeah, I've had a long journey with coaches because I played at 3 clubs, Collingwood, Richmond and Brisbane. My first coach was John Cale, who was a great motivator. Probably the first coach who probably had some structure and organisation was Robert Walls when he coached me at Brisbane. And then I got to work alongside Gary Ayres at Geelong, Mark Williams and John Worsfold, and I've taken things from all those 3 coaches. The most important stat as a senior coach is what the scoreboard's telling you.
Gives it to Sloan. This is for 9. Strikes it okay. Super goal again.
I'll never lose my passion for the game. I coached at West Coast when we finished last. It's still one of the most enjoyable years I've ever had in football. So I can still find enjoyment because this is where my passion is.
Done his apprenticeship and not young to be getting a senior job.
Heaven forbid other Crows trying to emulate Port Adelaide. Because he's the Ken Hickley model, isn't he? Been an assistant coach for a long time now. He's finally got his chance at senior level.
Speaking of Port Adelaide, when Phil Walsh made Tex Walker the captain, I kept thinking about Warren Treadray at Port Adelaide, and he was there at the time. And I think he sees some similarities in what Walker might be able to do as a big forward as captain of the club.
He's so influential. He brings the team along, and when he's up and about, and this is some of his form in 2012, to be honest, and you know, he was able to kick 63 goals in 2012, and just he gets his teammates up.
This is the one part of the game, Jude, where I reckon midfielders are better equipped to be leaders. I don't like the big forwards as a leader, just as a general rule. He might be the best that Adelaide have got, and he was the best team-man, won the best team-man award last year, so he's obviously really regarded around the club, but I always find it's hard to lead out of the forward third when all the pressure is in the back half.
Did you tell Jonathan Brown that when you're...
Well, that's why Jonathan Brown didn't become captain immediately. Michael Voss retired.
It is hard though. You want to influence the game, so you want to get yourself inside the middle.
Eddie Betts is not going to be captain, but what he does really well, is kick goals. And one of them last year was a finalist in the goal of the year against North Melbourne. But he's been brilliant for Adelaide, as he was for Carlton.
He kicks the odd ground level goal, but both him and Lindsay Thomas up the other end for the Kangaroos, they're target players. They're only small guys, but they will get on the lead to make themselves available for teammates upfield. So I always look at Eddie as a small full forward, really.
He does present well, does he? Lead and mark all the time. And I guess they've got Charlie Cameron up there as well, who's a different type of player, but you know, very sharp inside 50.
In a word, who's better, Thomas or Betts?
I'm going Betts.
Okay, they're similar.
They're very similar.
Okay.
Very similar.
Let's talk about the Kangaroos for a moment. We talked about their recruitment. Higgins and Wade are two that come in. Now, Higgins can play both ends. Wade can do it too, but probably as a forward, what difference can they make?
I think they're sort of the missing pieces, to be honest, but we don't know exactly how consistent these two can be. At their best, absolutely damaging, especially Higgins. And we've seen in even the NAB Cup, he was able to kick 3 goals on one occasion. You know, he can turn teams inside out and give you a bit of flexibility, but he's got to be consistent.
It looked like he'd gone off the ball at the Bulldogs the last few years, so I guess they're all hoping the change of coach.
Here's the jumper to Waite, by the way.
Find his best, And Jared Waite, Jared Waite has been... there he is. It's been about as inconsistent as you get, to be honest. I mean, his best fantastic and his worst has been pretty poor. So, but with Petrie, that big post forward, the big forward, having the running, marking centre forward type player, well, they really haven't had a good one. Waite might become that.
He's got to eliminate the brain fades, though.
And durability's been a problem for both. They've both been injured a whole lot. A couple of newcomers there, Basil, but from a Crows point of view, you've got your eye on a veteran today.
Bruce, good afternoon. Yeah, terrific to be here. Little bit of cloud about, slight wind, but terrific conditions for round one. Nathan Van Berlo, that's right. We talked about the new captain of the Adelaide Crows in Tex Walker. Well, of course, Nathan Van Berlo, captain of the club for 5 seasons, unable to play all of last year because of that ruptured Achilles. He's a real leader at this club still, and it's terrific for the Adelaide Crows to welcome him back. He's the big in, I guess, the sentimental in many ways. The other, up there in the back pocket, number 25, Kyle Cheney, 41 games at Melbourne and Hawthorn, including 9 last year, a premiership year for the Hawks, and they're hoping some of that premiership feel can rub off on this Adelaide Crows lineup, even though obviously he did not play. But Adelaide looking good. Of course, starting their his 20th season, is a man who's been around, well, it feels like forever, doesn't it? 20 years of football, it's quite incredible. Boomer Harvey wearing the number 29 Guernsey. He played his first game against the Adelaide Crows 19 seasons ago. He kicked 2 goals that day, and all these years later, the Adelaide Crows players still nominate him as the North Melbourne player they need to watch.
For the last probably 25 years with the Kangaroos. Stop Ben Harvey. Stop Brent Harvey.
Harvey and Yetch, the old and the new. Oh, he speeds away, bounces inside 50, and says that's how it's done.
He's so good. He's an incredibly important player for them.
Although he's pretty old, he's probably one of their best players.
He's that evergreen midfielder that just gives them so much drive and so much run.
The little man Harvey, an opportunity here, and he turns around on the right foot and he kicks the goal.
Boomer Harvey in season number 20. He's been around a long time. 5th player to make it to season number 20. He first played against Adelaide in round 12, 1997. And as I mentioned, he kicked 2 goals. North Melbourne on their way out. Let's get back upstairs to Bruce.
Thanks, Basil. Terrific. And Brad Scott's joined us. Brad, thank you for doing that. Hey, Brad, firstly, good luck. But can I ask you the late change, Jacobs in for Brown?
Yeah, Bruce, a difficult decision. We just decided that we go with our fittest list and those who had had the best preparation, and probably a little bit of going a little bit smaller too. We really feel that round one's high intensity and we want our best running side available, and Brown's been okay in the pre-season. He's going to play a big part in our 2015 year, but we feel like a running side's called for today.
Brad, I'm still trying to get used to recruiting your 31-year-olds. Jared Waite, of course, has come into your lineup and he's been terrific at his best, but he has had his bad days. What have you found the key to trying to get his optimum level?
Oh, not yet, to be honest, Lee. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with Jared over the pre-season. It's going to take us a while to get to know him, but, you know, I'm a big fan of looking at what players can do rather than what they can't, and I think the focus of Waite's career, people have focused too much on what he can't do.
Brad, Jude Bolton here. You're really the first person to coach against Phil Walsh. What are you expecting from Phil and the Crows today?
Well, we can only judge on what we've seen in the NAB Challenge so far, and that's a really well-organised, high-pressure team, and probably reflective of Phil's time at West Coast in 2012 and, you know, his recent experience at Port Adelaide. So we're expecting a contested game, a really high-pressure game, and we're up for it.
Good on you, Brad. Exciting times for the club and an exciting opening round. All the best, mate.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you to Brad Scott. Look, Boomer Harvey, it is amazing that bloke, and of course Dustin Fletcher played yesterday. It's crazy, isn't it?
Is he 40 yet, Dustin? He's 40 this year, isn't he?
They're a week apart, by the way. I mean, Dustin turns 40 a week before Boomer turns 37.
But a 40-year-old who's about to be playing AFL footy, and Brent Harvey obviously is 384 games. He's 37, isn't he? Just, it's amazing. There's 2 real veterans.
Dustin has 14 of his teammates who hadn't debuted before his,
The key for both, I think, is that physically they haven't lost their pace.
Well, that's right. I mean, Boomer Harvey's probably still a player you want to stop in the North Melbourne lineup. I mean, if he runs and carries, which he still is able to do, you just forget the birth certificate in a way, because the ageing process, he's defied that for a long time and continues to do so.
They are a rather old team, to be honest. I mean, they've got a lot of blokes over 30, haven't they? Half a dozen playing today.
That's why I reckon they've gone for the Waite and the Higgins, trying to get just this, while it's the pieces here, their window's open, they're trying to cash in right now.
Well, Waite you virtually get for nothing because he's a free agent. It's not as if you have to give away a draft choice. So it's almost a free pick in a way. All you're doing is paying him whatever salary he's getting out of the salary cap. But Dos Santo came in a couple of years ago, so they've got a bit of... They're a very experienced team, aren't they? That's the point.
And they've got that group of midfielders that all came in about the same time.
Yeah,
I'll say 2 names, Zeeble and Cunnington, who you feel like have got to a level, and they may even go to one level above that and maybe get into your top 7.
Well, they're still only they're the mid-20s. They're just really in the prime of their career these days. Big strong player, Jack Zeeble.
So a big moment here for Tex and his team.
Exciting, incredibly exciting to lead your team out for the first time.
I know it's probably ridiculous as I go through, but I feel there's more pressure on Adelaide today. They were 6-6 at this ground last year. They've got to take care of business at home, and they start today probably as the slight favourites because of that home ground advantage. They must take advantage of it. So it should be a beauty. Can't wait for the opening bounce after this.
My first couple of years, I sort of
It took me a while to adapt to the city. Looking back now, like I was fairly homesick and just a bit lost, not around my family and the farm and that sort of area. Yeah, I'm loving me footy, especially at North Melbourne. Like they've shown great faith in me, and I'm just happy to start repaying them now. And I reckon we've still got a lot to prove and a lot to show.
And a milestone today. He was the best and fairest of the club last year, his 100th game. So he's right in his prime, Cunnington, 23 years of age, taken 5 in the draft in 2009. So it was tight, wasn't it? Have a look at that. 2 votes between the top 5.
Would have been exciting at the end, Mac, at that particular count.
Absolutely. Let's go down to ground level. Jude Bolton's here, but so's Mark Soderstrom. Great to have you with us, Soders. And Soders, an unusual build-up for the Crows, re the Adelaide Oval.
Bruce, you're right, absolutely. Now, what's actually happened is, of course, we had our World Cup cricket going on here for a long time. So the Crows actually didn't get an opportunity to set foot on the Adelaide Oval until yesterday morning. They had a 45-minute run following the cricket. This is what the Oval looked like on Thursday night when the Nitro Circus rolled into town. Motorbikes all over the deck. Now, security normally won't let anyone near the ground unless it's a match or training. So you could see there real heart and mouth stuff for curator Damien Huff and his staff. So they spent all of Good Friday. There was no rest at all. They worked diligently to make sure the deck can be in pristine condition. It looks pretty good right now.
Good stuff, yeah. Fascinating, isn't it? So,
job.
A new era, at Adelaide.
Let's go, Eddie. Toss the coin, mate. Let's go for it. Heads. Heads is the call. Tails it is. Good luck, guys.
So Tex starts well, going to the left. So a real new era for the Crows. A new CEO, a new coach, a new captain. Let's see what they can deliver this year against a team that has been pretty good.
Just looking at Phil Walsh, doesn't matter how many years you've... now you're the man in charge. The buck stops with you. The responsibility's on your shoulders. It's a very different game of going to the footy than he has done in his career to this point.
Basil, what was his reputation like in Perth?
Fierce reputation, Bruce. Well organised. One of the best tactical brains in the game was his reputation.
And his effort to bring John Worsfold over to look at the club for a couple of days, a couple of weeks ago. How did that go down?
Yeah, did that at the last NAB Challenge match. It was a showdown. He analysed the structures in the coach's box, whether the message was getting through. Not so much the game plan, but how the communication was from Phil Walsh down to the players, down to his other coaches.
Well, that's the thing with game plans and tactics in the modern era. When you've got a senior coach and maybe 7 or 8 assistants, the communication between them is so critical, so players don't get confused with the message.
Who's going to win, Lee?
I'm going to stick with the home team, just simply for that reason, the home team.
Basil?
Adelaide for me.
I think they'll win narrowly. It'll be a great game, I reckon.
Great way to start the new season, isn't it? In Adelaide, at the Adelaide Oval. So much expectation for both of these teams. Can North go one better than last year and make it into a grand final? Can Adelaide back to the finals? Goldstein, Cunnington, he had the football lost it. Eddie was ferocious there. Dangerfield, Eddie again. They've got the ball into Douglas's hands. Now Gibson mopping up at the back. Ferrito, you heard the call, touched. Hardigan just a little slow. Talia, Laird, Yench. Good composed football. And they find Brown.
So out to Jacobs. Jacobs and Goldstein to be fascinating. Good kick by the big guy. Oh, he'll get a cheer, Van Berlo. So one captain maybe to the other. Well, Sloan might have been, so there you go. So Sloan within range. Just a moment ago, Lee, Tippett's picked up Walker. Tippett and Walker go hand in hand.
Fantastic running then by Jacobs. He actually chars out to the wing to be the release player for the Crows. That's the kind of running power you expect of a midfielder. So fantastic effort by him.
Not sure if there's a more popular player in town than this guy. Everybody loves Rory. He's a competitive beast. 45 metres out, tight angle. Struck it really well. That's the perfect start for the local team, the home side. Well, their favourites got involved, didn't they? Van Berlo got an early touch, important for him after missing the whole of last year. Jacobs, Lee talked about his run. Basil talked about the composure down back. And then Sloan, who's not a noted goal kicker, that's a bonus. I mean, if he kicks it 2 or 3, but he just struck it home so well. So Adelaide away to a good start.
Yeah, always happy, both for him individually and for the Crows. You take the shot, he took the pressure. Not an easy set shot, but he made it. Great morale booster for him and the team.
So, terrific start, the Adelaide Crows. 2 minutes into the new season, they've got the first goal on the board. Again, Goldstein, very high. Dangerfield, busy again, Laird. Off half-back, sends the ball towards half-forward and Walker marks. The new skipper, he's a long way from home. He's eager to get going. He squeezes a low one, no mark. Thompson now, some mopping up to do. Wait, under pressure. Ball over the line. Good start, Adelaide, Lee.
Yes, no, they got the life and the energy in this first couple of minutes. Early days, of course, but they certainly, that little bit of that ascendancy early, just running that bit harder, winning the footy, winning the contest early.
Siebel, terrific mark from Del Santo. In short.
Play on!
Bastanak. Interesting year last year, he was subbing all those finals. So wait, first real touch. Off a step. Goldstein, well done, Jacobs. Harvey front and centre. Laird terrific. Talia's hands okay. Henderson loves to run and carry. That time he was held in. That's a good kick. That's a really good kick off the wrong side for him. To Cameron, squares it. So Walker getting involved early a couple of times, and then Tex on the march, decides to go to full forward. Not a, well, good choice maybe. Eddie almost, he read it best bets, but he couldn't take the mark, and Bastanak gets it in the back pocket.
One of the teams, it's always hard sometimes, whether it's the Kangaroos have set up the spare back or the Crows. I'll count the numbers in a minute, but you can't kick it long and high into your forward 50 at the moment.
Goldstein, good mark, gives it to Siebel. Quick movement of the ball, and Thomas, terrific grab. Inside the centre square now. The best and fairest is breaking for him. He gets around one. Cunnington is still on. A very good kick, but he spilt the mark. Mark dropped it, fired out Laird's way. Talia just enough on it. Squeezing it for Hardigan. They're going to get out of danger. Here's Smith taken over the line. Good pressure north, but the mark should have been taken.
Couple of early matchups, boys. Jack Siebel's got Dangerfield, and also Rory Laird's running really tight with Boomer Harvey.
Gee, that was unusual to see Cunnington drop that. Thomas had worked it so well.
Absolute sitter.
So Goldstein and Jacobs. I reckon we talk a lot about them today. Van Berlo, quick kick. Walker, so three.
Been good.
He has. Hasn't used it brilliantly, I don't think, yet.
He's getting well upfield. You want him having shots for goal, but he's sort of getting the ball up into midfield release.
Van Berlo, Dangerfield. Careful kick. And Jenkins, who had a subdued pre-season.
You wonder, Lee, if he's pushing himself up just to exert an influence over this team as the new captain wants to get involved.
I think so. When the ball's up the other end of the field, everybody's pushing up into the middle, of course, and so the modern key position forward is often going to get the ball up in the middle.
Jacobs and Goldstein, what a matchup this is, as Bruce mentioned. They've been at it, stride for stride so far, and the footy's not coming out of there. Two really good ruckmen.
Well, in the last 4 years, either one of them has been rated the second best ruckman in the comp. They're both over that journey, twice been in the All-Australian 40, the nominal list.
Jacobs flat a couple of seasons ago, much better last year, on the 40 again now. Del Santo, a new dad. He boots the ball towards Petrie. Sun in the eye, maybe just for a fraction. Swallow there. Thomas, well done. Roved it well. Threw it onto the left. It's a high ball. Harvey can't get there. Had to wait for the bounce. The 229s, Laird and Harvey. Arriving now, Bastanak back to Harvey. Loves a goal. Not that time. First score of the season for North Melbourne. A behind off the boot of Boomer Harvey. Start of his 20th year. 385th game of football. If he plays 16 straight, he'll play his 400th against Brisbane at the Gabba.
Only 2 men have managed that so far, and we'll get two in the one season this year, seemingly, with Fletcher and Harvey. Remarkable stuff. Wells on the up. Missed, though. Smith, Van Berlo, Dangerfield. To half forward. Getting back, Cameron so quick. Turned his man. McDonald with him. Well done, McDonald. Boundary throw and good contest. Notice Dangerfield lead. Playing the wings, Dangerfield, at the moment. Just getting a little bit of outside ball, which I think is important for him.
Now, the ball's moving very quickly from end to end. No congestion, and congestion around the footy, but when the ball's breaking into space, yeah, there's plenty of movement.
Jacobs did well, then worked his way down in front. Gibson read it off hands. Ball towards half-back. Petrie caught at the back. Sloan, well done. There's a free kick. Advantage is allowed. Ball comes forward.
That's good.
Tex Walker.
That's good.
Wright's kick, Walker's mark, and the new skipper can go back and kick his first as Adelaide captain.
Go back what I said earlier on, Mac. Midfield's a dime a dozen. The blokes who can stand under the footy and just win the contest in the air, worth their weight in gold. I mean, he really, you could say, I don't think it's a 50-50 ball. He just was so strong. Gee, started well, Walker.
34 goals, 22 last season. The new skipper, his first decisive act as captain. That's a great start. Great start for him. Great start for Adelaide. We mentioned he's not been afraid, Lee, to get right up the ground, get involved, get his voice out there.
Well, you know he's a moving forward. He's not just the big foot. Look at the Tom Hawkins moves a bit, but he's just a big, bulky, full forward type player, to use the old terminology. But Walker is very much a moving forward.
Well, this has been a really positive start, obviously.
And taking their chances. 2 set shots, 2 goals, so they're making the most of their forward thrusts.
Van Berlo's been good early. The captain's been terrific. Ellis Yeoman, Sloan having an impact. Douglas, Laird, McKay. Douglas just not quite ready for it, but had time. So on the left boot to half forward, it's all North Melbourne. Strong mark, that time taken by Thompson. No Hanson today, no Grimer. I feel when they're all back there that Thompson can play probably a very attacking role that he loves to do. Kicks to half forward. At the back with Cheney. Cunnington. Pretty well weighted. Talia was... both players' eyes on the ball, but Talia getting the free kick. Wide to Brown. Smith, All-Australian last year, goes bang.
It's a long ball, well-directed ball. Fisted away from Lynch. Sloan read it well. Dangerfield, Jenkins coming through. Charlie Cameron onto the boot quickly, just offline. What's exciting play from Adelaide. They move the ball very quickly. Phil Walsh, first moments as a senior coach. And everybody pushed up into Adelaide's half of the ground. 2-2, North Melbourne just the one behind.
Pressing, aren't they? So expecting that. Goldstein, Talia, strong mark by Goldstein. Wells, interrupted season last year. Cunnington, Waite tucked it under the arm. This has been terrific. Harvey within range, but he'll go wide. Sets up Higgins. First look at him now. It's a good kick, Higgins. Kicks it. That's a terrific goal. A team goal, one into the other. Well, he's going to be happy too. I mean, we've talked about the good start by key Adelaide players, but nothing better when you're a recruit to a club and you get an early touch like that and you finish it off. I mean, that's the sort of stuff he can do. So he's going to be absolutely rapt to get that chance.
Yeah, well, they found their way through the zone, the really press up high zone. Every Crows player was basically within, 70, 80 metres of their goal. If you can get possession, as the Kangaroos did, and move the ball quickly, we'll have a look at just as they run the ball through. As soon as you get over the top here, you've got to play the ball on quickly. This is what the Kangaroos do really well. They win the ball, now they play it on. And now the Crows' defence are all in between. And now it's a matter they then held position really well and kicked the goal, the Kangaroos.
Not a bad first touching there for your new club. First kick, first goal.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, that's for sure. Ball loose now. Douglas running hard off half-back. That was good work, the Crows combining. And the long ball down to Walker again. Douglas led. And the kick onto the chest.
Right on the 50. Just inside. So that's line clear out, guys. Both be out.
So, how's this for a start then? Couple of shots at goal. One set shot, no problem. This for his second goal.
Wind's going slightly with this kick.
It's been a bright start. Kick has the distance, just drifted across, and a behind for Walker.
North have to get some more pressure around the footy because it's just coming in so fast. Taylor Walker's already taken 5 marks, so he's going at record pace at the moment.
He's going to set some new figures for himself if he can keep that up today. Early days yet. Bastanek off the step. Dangerous kick, Sloan courageously. Douglas inboard. Led. And that's a poor kick. We really missed the lot.
It's a really good exhibition of the game this first 10 minutes. The ball is flowing up and back. Good skills from both teams. Great exhibition.
Yeah, good courage from both sides as well. So high ball, Jenkins now. Ellis Yeoman, he was slow, had plenty of time. Has to be holding the ball. Adelaide got him. So we're not in much doubt this year, are we, Lee? If you take them on.
Yep. Oh, yeah, no, it was a fair dinkum holding the ball, took him on, got pinged.
He's going to be holding the ball every time. Good grab by Petrie. So slowish start from Big Drew. Long ball now. Goes for home. Wait. Hardigan right there with him. Runners arrive. Higgins has kicked one already. How about this for a start? Number 2.
All clear.
Gee, Cooney and Higgins, eh? Cooney yesterday, ex-Doggies, they found the goals all right, haven't they?
But both sides are moving the ball really quickly through the middle of the ground, which I love footy like that. I hate it when players they get the ball in the middle of the ground and they're just scared to go forward. Both sides are backing themselves to play on, move the ball quickly, and therefore they've both been able to generate a couple of shots at goal from from a handful of entries. Entries are 9-4 in the Adelaide's favour, but they've been able to break through, run hard through the middle of the ground, the Kangaroos, and Higgins has finished off twice.
Gee, what a dream start for him, Sean Higgins. High draft pick, taken from the Dogs, for the Dogs, and had an interrupted career there, lots of hamstring problems. Terrific start, 2 kicks, 2 goals. Van Berlo, Whirls, a couple of bad errors from the Crows in the last couple of minutes. Laird missed an easy shot. Ellis Yeoman seemed to freeze inside the forward 50, and they may be paying for it here. North on a bit of a burst, caught underneath Zeeble, hit the ground hard with him, Cheney, and a boundary throw in. So a good start for Adelaide, not counting for much on the scoreboard right now.
So Crows by 2 points, and North Melbourne inside their forward 50. It's been a cracking start, just what you'd expect. Round 1, 2 sides pretty evenly matched. Higgins again got his little kick away, taken by Smith, the All-Australian. Bouncing ball towards Lynch, who took it cleanly. Ellis Yeoman did well. Got out of the McMillan tackle. Goes forward, the skipper's on again. Yet another mark. That's 6 now. Tex Walker. Now Ellis Yeoman's kept going. Jenkins is the long option. He's going to come shorter instead than Van Berlo. So current skipper to former skipper,
who also is getting a fair bit of the ball. We've talked a lot about Tex. Nathan Van Berlo, bright start by him. Kicks to a 2-on-1 against them. Ferrito tried to take the mark, couldn't quite swallow. McDonald played more games than any other first-year player last season. Out wide and a boundary throw-in. 23 games he played last year. No goals. He had a terrific season. Melbourne North have done pretty well here, into maybe a slight breeze. Adelaide with a lot of emotion early, a couple of early goals, and North correcting it.
So Petrie now doing the ruck work. Jacobs with him. Ellis Yeoman starting to get his hands on the footy. Just again a little slow. Cunnington taken to the ground. Gibson bursting out of the pack. Good football now. They work the ball through the middle. Zeeble got it nicely from Adelaide. Sends an awkward-looking ball inside 50. So Hardigan needs to be clean here. Good handball to Yench. Kick pulls it around McDonald. That was very clever. Finds McKay.
It was a clever kick. At the inch, that's his trademark, really. A skillful, thinking player. So Dangerfield getting a lot of wide footy, as we said early. He's had enough of it early. He hasn't really penetrated yet, though. If you had 2 of them, Lee, I'd play one of them at half-back. I reckon he just control the game from there.
He could play anywhere, couldn't he, really?
He reads it.
Maybe not ruck, but in the other position he's got some chance of playing.
Deep forward, mid, cross half-back. Decides to stay out there. He was on his way off and turned around. Jacobs, Petrie, Jacobs easily. That's a great tackle. What a tackle from Wells on Sloan. Cunnington, Jacobs, who came into the game for Brown pre-match, and well read by Yench at the back. So North pushing hard here.
Talia got it from Yench. Low, flat one. Good mark taken by Cheney.
2 metres! Back another metre! Back a metre!
So Cheney's first game for his new club.
Clear out the mark!
41 games at Melbourne and Hawthorn. As we mentioned at the top, 9 games last year in a premiership season for the Hawks, but didn't figure when it really counted. Jacobs, good grab, hits the ground running. He's full of confidence, the big man. Kick, well, just waiting a little bit was Douglas. Could have done better there. Interesting this one now. They've got him from front and back, and it's holding the ball.
As soon as you dive on it, and as long as you don't get fell on the back, on the head, that's if you don't get it clear, and players are holding it in because they know you've already dived on it, automatic free kick.
Jacobs' kick wasn't terrific, but he should have marked that one.
Yep. So that is a good mark by Smith, and somebody's down.
Wait.
It's Brown, I think, but he's okay.
He's injured or not, so we don't. That's it.
Don't know if you know, I'm sure you did, Baz, when you're doing these two teams. A lot of blokes with the same surnames on either team, but Brown's late withdrawal takes that one away. That's a poor effort by Lynch. He really should have gobbled that up. Thomas, Atley's quick, but he's caught by Van Berlo and then slung. McKay couldn't take hold of it. Cunnington, well done. Thomas, high tackle.
Test the tackler, Thomas. You always buckle the knees as the tackle comes, so if the tackle is a little high, it'll slip right up above the shoulder.
So just an untidy minute for Douglas.
Couple of errors there. High ball now inside 50. Wells came with a big flight. Thrown out by Sloan. It appeared to be. High ball now. Coming back inside. Atley's kick. No clean mark. Chance on the ground for Gibson. He swings it back. Well done, Goldstein. Important hand in there. Still alive for the Adelaide Crows. Bit indecisive. Well done, Hardigan. Found the footy on the ground. Across to McKay. And now out of side, long kick. It's a good kick, and Sloan should be away.
He is a good kick, McKay, and that was important. Sloan down the line. So how many marks for Walker, Baz?
7th mark for Walker.
7. So on that left foot, that's a good kick. Douglas in a beautiful spot now. Can Zeeble get him? The bounce of the ball, not great for Douglas. Hooks it back and finds Jenkins. End-to-end footy for the Crows. Walker's such a catalyst in this opening term. He's just presentingly, isn't he?
Yeah, presenting so well. I mean, again, it's the transition when he got these, had the couple of shots at goal, but mostly he's been actually just when they're coming off half-back, you need someone making the run into space. And Walker's working really hard.
His 7 marks have been more than he's had in his previous 9 games.
Gee, good stuff, Jude. So Jenkins, 40 goals last year from 20 matches. That was a good return. He's got it. He gets his first and Adelaide's third. He's a bit of a barometer, this guy. I think, you know, he does need to kick his 2 or 3. He doesn't get high positions.
Yeah.
He's got to come home, I think, with a couple of goals, Lee.
Well, he's largely the foil, isn't he, for Walker. He'll probably play it, but he's reasonably mobile as well, Jenkins. He's been pretty good, play some good footy, but the height in their forward line is Jenkins and Walker, and then a combination of medium sizes.
Hey guys, I've had a busy weekend, but during the week I'm going to go to Presto and I'm going to watch my favourite movie. Lee, nothing to do with you or me. No Country for Old Men. It was a beauty, I can tell you.
Well, good timing, Bruce. The free 30-day trial is on right now, so why not see Bruce's favourite movie? Sloan. Here's Eddie. Got his hands on the footy. That was good movement of the ball. Slick. Well done, Thompson mopping up Goldstein. Left behind by McDonald. Jacobs there. Ellis Yeoman pushed forward. We'll get it free.
Bring it back next. Straight up next.
So Ellis Yeoman just finding the tempo of the game now. His second game from Flinders Park here in SA originally. He's been on the list for a long time. Holding. Walker, free kick.
Marked it anyway. Geez, the target.
Well, Lee, they got a mismatch because Thompson was on the mark. And I think it was right. Was it right?
Yeah, sometimes that shouldn't happen, really. It's just really sloppy. The guy on the mark stands the mark rather than actually sticking with his direct opponent. So, but he's looking a bit big and strong for any of those Kangaroos defenders at this point of the game.
Well, it would have been mark number 8. It can be goal number 2. We're right behind it, and the skipper hits the post.
There's enough time, though, Lee, then to slide someone back in front of him and close up the dangerous space.
So I just wonder if Adelaide have got value for money here, Lee. I mean, it's just a 9-point game.
No, well, they haven't 7 scoring shots to 3, but they've missed their 2 or 3 very gettable ones, which leaves it only the 9-point margin.
So neat Del Santo, isn't he? Big fly at the back from Lynch. Smith, normally a long kick, we know that. That is a goal. There you go, off one step. That is a weapon when you can do that. Well, he was a revelation last year off half-back wing. And there's a lot of talk about where he plays. Eventually, I think they want to put him into the midfield, but he's such an attacking half-back flanker. Yeah. With a long leg, Lee. A long leg.
Well, I mean, because the half-back line is often getting up front of the centre square, every now and again they might have a couple of shots at goal, and if you've got the 60-metre kick in the repertoire, well, you might kick a goal or 2 here and there.
Here we go. He's had 6 disposals, 100% efficiency.
It's one kick, but it's instinctive, makes terrific contact. Didn't have a chance to think about it. A lot of time, the thinking part of it paralyses players when they have a shot, but he just instinctively, one step, bang.
So Adelaide out to a 15-point lead now. 4.5, a little under to play. And you get the feeling now, Lee, that they've got the lead that they probably should have.
No, I think the 15-point lead is a reasonable result for the way the game's been played.
Nick Del Santo out there fighting hard for the footy. North Melbourne officials tell us he had his first good night's sleep. He became a father for the first time just a few weeks ago with partner Jules, and it's another baby Jude. Baby Jude, congratulations to the Del Santo. Smith kicked the last goal. Cunnington right there with him. Ellis Yeoman fighting hard. Here's Nicky D. Well done. So clean, as Bruce said, and we saw a great example of it there. Gibson's kicked forward. Well done by Cheney. He's fitted in really well. That'll be 50. Just watching some of their NAB footy, Lee. He looks a really good fit for the Adelaide defence.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to play. They've already got Tarley, who's a top-notch key defender, so Cheney becomes that second or third. He looks like he's got the weight match-up as much as anything at this point of the game.
Interesting too, no Brown and no Black for North Melbourne. Waite, the preferred option. And dropping in and taking a good grab. Gibson there got into the space.
That's what Jude was talking about before, being aware they're probably going to go to Walker. Make sure you get an extra player across to block the space.
Strong mark by Cunnington. He dropped a sitter earlier in this term, but a beauty there. Best and fairest, as we said, from last season, playing his 100th. Waite. Higgins has made a spectacular start with a couple of goals, with a couple of kicks. Waite, okay. Kicks to a hot spot. Bastanak quickly to fall forward in a good spot for North here. Well done by right there for the Crows against the flow. Laird banging it hard out to half-back. Waite was the first contender, and then Bastanak on hands and knees, now in trouble and gone. Holding the footy.
Pinged by umpire Lee Fisher. Umpires today, Fisher, Nichols and Mollison. So that's his view down the ground for Smith. Beautiful day at a glorious place to play football. And, well, cricket as well. Just a beautiful multi-purpose stadium. Even the Nitro funny cars.
They did an outstanding job of just replacing the centre pitch in a few days, and you wouldn't even know there was one there.
MCG Thursday night.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Sloane's kick, not a good one. So Zeeble read that well. Now a chance. Bastanak. Can they catch them on the hop here, North Melbourne? Here's Waite from long range. Kick not ideal. It favoured the wrong man, and Brown read it well, wrapped it up. Not a good kick in then from Jared Waite.
Wasted a chance at the turnover coming in the centre of the ground, so North with a real opportunity there. Gibson pushed in the back. Jacobs got a high one.
Thanks, Drew. Right there. Stay up, Brett.
Good kick by Jacobs. Cameron, can he turn his man? No. Cunnington's handball, just a little too fierce. Smith's been outstanding. Wright, getting deep. Lynch. Adelaide's foot skills generally have been very good. Working hard, the big fella, Sauce. And then Sauce lumbers to fall forward. Where's Tex? It's Dangerfield, not quite. Betts roving it. He'll kick a goal. Nothing would be surer than that. Eddie rams it home. They've got some potency, haven't they? When they're all up and running, there's a really good look about this forward 50 look for Adelaide, I reckon. Just a bit of a bash and crash,
and Sam Jacobs around the middle.
Yeah,
was important too. I think he's just done a bit better than Goldstein in the movement part of the ruck work. In this first part of the game, he's been the link player around the middle of the ground as he was then.
And the beauty of the long kick, Lee. It came in hard, it came in long, and it caught the defenders out. Dangerfield's big fly was important as well.
I'm not sure you want to drop it on Eddie Betts' head, I've got to say, Basil, the long kick in, but certainly he recovered quickly.
So Goldstein this time down to Zeeble. Ellis Yeoman got him high this time. Zeeble 5 goals last time these two sides played. It was down in Hobart, round 22 last year. It was not quite an elimination final, it was almost a qualifying final. Van Berlo, beautiful kick. Eddie, who kicked the last one. Now Dangerfield running in support. Uses Patrick Dangerfield now. He goes with a long ball. Caught in front, put Mark Lynch.
Just now played with Millen. Millen has the problem with the defender. He's half looking at his opponent, he's half looking at the footy, and that enabled Lynch to just basically step around because he's actually watching the ball in the air. Defenders have to be able to play the ball in its merits. Too conscious of their opponents, quite often they get caught out of position as he did then.
Well, this for a 27-point lead on the quarter-time siren.
Yeah, not with me, Jamie.
How massive this would be. What an emphatic start it's been by the Adelaide Crows. Lynch for that lead on the siren. Couldn't get much better, could it, for a rookie coach? What a start to the coaching caper for the new man in charge.
Absolutely. So the Crows fly away early. It's 40-13 here on a Sunday afternoon at the Adelaide Oval.
Secret that defensively Adelaide will want to improve.
They moved the ball quickly, 61 kicks, 35 handballs, so they kicked the footy, so they got the ball moving quickly. 80% efficiency, which is really high with their disposal.
Of course, we know North have been good against the top 6 teams last season, but they dropped games around about teams close to them, and this is where they've got to improve. And Adelaide is one of the teams that they would expect to beat if they can really challenge and go further. Goldstein, Swallow, had it, lost it. Wells, ditto. Goldstein went in again. Eddie Betts tackling him. Swallow there, hard at it. Dangerfield too. It'll come up again. So he didn't look happy at all, Brad Scott, nor should he be really. 27 points opening quarter, long time to get ready for this. And that wasn't what he wanted.
Notice Betts has started both terms in the centre square, right up the middle. Jenkins, Douglas, wide. Well, that's 9 marks for Walker. He's into the breeze slightly. Could probably get the trip here, I reckon.
There's the big grandstand that he's kicking towards, which it really, any breeze that's coming from that direction, it should block it out pretty much completely.
You love it when they do this, I reckon. Take responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
As long as when they kick it, it's fantastic. Let's see how he goes. It's coming back. It's a good kick. There, don't you love it? Oh, how big is Texas right now? Well, Lee, he could have had 4 goals easily.
Oh, yeah. Outstanding. He's taken 8 marks. He hasn't bothered with handball. He just kicks it.
And Lee, I love the way that he just said, I'm going to have a shot from here.
Well, he had a look. I mean, you've got to have a look and just make sure there's nothing obvious on. But when there was nothing obvious on, he settled himself. He knows he's got a 60-metre kick as long as he times it correctly, and he delivered. this. He knows he can kick 60 metres, but you still got to time it correctly. He made beautiful contact. That's taken the pressure and delivering.
Goal number 199 for his career, and 5 in a row. The last 5 goals of the game for the Adelaide Crows, and Douglas to Dangerfield. Here they come again. Jenkins maybe just caught off hop there. Thompson dropped what he should have taken. Gee, pressure let off there.
I reckon Phil Walsh at the moment thinking pretty good decision to make Taylor Walker, Tex Walker captain. He's killing them.
It's an interesting... How big a surprise was it, Bruce, when he was made Adelaide captain?
I'll get to that in a moment. Sloane to Betts. I have got a story there, Baz. Betts to fall forward. Here he is again.
I think the answer was outside Adelaide. Well, outside the Crows, you were a bit surprised that Dangerfield didn't become captain, but...
He's about to kick his 200th career goal. Very quickly, I had dinner with Brenton Sanderson about 2 weeks before he got sacked. He thought that this was the natural leader of the club.
He's the natural
I think
leader.
Brendan Sanderson was going to make the same call.
Well, that's what you know.
You walk into
internally.
the club rooms at Adelaide, you walk into the club rooms, this is the bloke that everybody gravitates towards, and he's kicked a behind. So 2 goals, 3 so far today. But so a slight surprise, I think, but...
Yeah, you should never second-guess clubs about who should be captain, because you've got to be internal, know the players, know the personalities, know the characters, and then they make, obviously, the best informed decision.
Well, you mentioned that time that John Worsfold spent here a few weeks ago. He thought he wouldn't be the man, obviously, walking from the outside. He said within 72 hours at the club, he could understand perfectly why Tex Walker was the captain. It's been a ferocious start, hasn't it? Adelaide by 34 points. And just repeating, they've kicked the last 5 goals of the game. Forward again. Walker spilt another one. That one easier. Eddie Betts has kicked a goal. He squeezes it short. Van Berlo not quite. Swallow on top of him. They're under all sorts of pressure, North Melbourne. Bastanak, McDonald, he just thumping the ball out of the danger zone. Over the football now. Cheney, he did very well against Waite. Jacobs, back to Cheney, inside Thomas, and then the ball spills over the line.
This forward press for Adelaide's interestingly, isn't it? North are going, their forward press for Adelaide. North are having real trouble bringing it out here.
Yeah, no, they're pushing up. They got through on that one of Higgins's goals from the kick-in, but Adelaide are locking it in beautifully at the moment.
Jacobs and Goldstein. Van Berlo had more time probably. Goes bang to fall forward. Walker working with Tippett. Dangerfield's in a good spot. Now a better spot.
Beautiful.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Eddie gets his second. What about Dangerfield, eh? He just thought his way through it. He's a footballer, isn't he? There's a good they're a good team when they're like this, aren't they?
Well, they're going. It's a beautiful game of football. It is a fantastic exhibition. And Dangerfield, as we know, he was just he was thinking his way through that situation. Do I take a left foot snap? No, that's low percentage. Have a look at Dangerfield's movement. It's more the brains work. He said, oh, that's too hard a shot. I won't do that one. I'll break the tackle. Eddie's going into the goal square. That is just composure under pressure, which is what we love about the best players in our game.
11 disposals for Dangerfield, 10 for Walker. They lead all of them out there on the ground. Touch ball towards Eddie. You heard the call. Thompson got it across to Swallow. Harvey, a little fumble as well. Van Berlo was right there with him. Now Bastanek. It's a rare trip forward for North Melbourne in this quarter. And Atley has the footy on the wing. Jacobs breaking for him. He ignores that one. Adelaide's defence, it is manic at the moment. High ball. Again, Cheney's done well. Douglas. Good work, McKay. Handball through. Ellis Yeoman. And now Van Berlo. A high ball. Dangerfield the target again. Good use of the body. No.
Yeah, the umpire paid it as he saw it and was probably in the back, I guess, but could have easily been. It was
push out.
What's interestingly,
it was a push out.
Umpire a long way away that paid not the umpire closest.
We might have a look at that one at half time just to see how that looked from a second go.
Jacobs beating Goldstein for the moment as Adelaide are beating North. To full forward, Dangerfield again. Basil mentioned the 11 disposal. 8 kicks is probably even more important.
Yeah, there's no doubt. They're kicking the ball, Adelaide. They're not messing around with hand pass. That's probably because the North Melbourne pressure just isn't anywhere near. It's only been 15 tackles a piece, so players are running out of congestion. It's a matter of who can win it and use it best. Clearly, the Crows are well up in all those capacities.
Well, Adelaide's kicked the last 6 goals in this match. Make that 7. Dangerfield having a huge impact. This is where he's a problem for everybody, Lee, when he goes deep forward.
Well, that's right. I mean, the big forwards we spoke about when we had a look at our top 7. I didn't put him in mind, but I had 5. You need the midfielders who actually can take an overhead mark. As long as they can do all the ground level stuff, they're just at an extra dimension, and Dangerfield is one of those.
What did North do here? I mean, this is almost away now, isn't it?
Well, you've got to start winning the footy. There's no great mystery. This free kick, maybe pushed him in the back. Sometimes it's just better, more body strength. I would call that play on if you had the benefit of the replay.
He was on his feet too, so who knows what may have been. Didn't matter in the end. He marked the next one in. 5 disposals this quarter for Dangerfield. 3 score involvements. Eddie Betts, he's away. He gets to the 50, pulls the kick, and the skipper marks, this time for number 200. This will be his 11th disposal, and it is his 10th mark.
Nice here, Mark.
They are incredible numbers, Lee.
They won another set of bouts. Well, he just keeps getting on the end of it. The 10 marks, only one of them's contested, so they've been moving marks where he's actually been moving to space.
2 goals, 3. Make it 2 goals, 4. So really, it should be a much better day already. There's been some kickable ones in there. Adelaide's lead, quite incredible, 47 points. And that's what they're looking up in front of them.
So North just need to get hold of the footy. We've got to quieten Adelaide down here. Smith, Clever, Cameron. So Charlie Cameron to fall forward. Dangerfield getting back with McMillan and a boundary throw in. He's a hard matchup, Dangerfield, isn't he?
Well, he is. The hard matchups all over the field for the Crows. Their speed away from the contest is really impressive, but I think as unimpressive is the Kangaroos' ability to actually lock the ball in or to chase hard when the Crows break from the congestion.
Goldstein, Betts read it best, though. Cunnington squeezing, Sloan, not quite. McMillan well played. Goldstein to Thomas. To Dalsando. They need some poise somewhere. Cheney. Real journeyman, isn't he? To Wright. Yinch. Wright will be pleased because it was a turnover. Cunnington. Thomas runs into a brick wall, but he did well. Hands and knees. Zeeble. Sloan. Got him. Henderson. It was a throw from Zeeble, and that was a terrific tackle from Sloan.
Oh, ferocious stuff. Ferocious. 47 points then. So Sloan, he goes long. Eddie at the back. 3 North Melbourne players up in front. Worked out okay. Swallow. Right. Now Thompson, Del Santo, Goldstein. They've worked it okay here. Pushed off the ball, Higgins, right, into trouble, Petrie, they got it to Zeeble, they've done it okay actually, now Attlee needs it to sit, it did sit, Douglas chasing, Attlee takes him on, this is good stuff, North, the short kick at the feet, didn't need to be there for Bastanak, McKay got the ball across, Douglas a little slow, still alive for Laird, mopping up, Ellis Yeoman in there, Harvey gets the footy, works it backwards, here they come again.
Jacobs the full forward, good looking strong kick, Hardigan there, contest with Wade.
Simultaneous mark.
It was fascinating how North brought the ball out a moment ago against the press. They needed about 8 or 9 handballs. They did it so well. Just couldn't make it stick in there. McKay, terrific. To Sloan. Off a step. Walker turned his man. Lynch. Cameo roll from him so far. Twisting, turning, getting out of trouble. Good looking kick off the boot. Puts it into a dangerous spot. North may be able to cut it off. McMillan's had a tough day so far. Kicks to centre forward, a good one. Zeeble, well done by Laird. Free kick. So 20 minutes ago, the margin was 2 points. Crows lead by 47 right now.
Here's Laird. Liked his game this afternoon. He's done everything that he's needed to do well. Talia, and they're away again. Sloan bouncing, chasing his Bastanak. He goes for home. It was an awkward kick off the boot. Now, Walker right there with Tippett and over the line. And the boundary line gives North a bit of a breather. It's been coming thick and fast in their direction.
It's been a wave, hasn't it? Like a tsunami. Jenkins used the body on Petrie. Cunnington, Swallow. Zeeble hammers it away with a torpedo. Now, Wells and Talia, the bounce important. Hardy can read it okay. Waite gets into his back slightly. Talia on the up to Brown. And then Brown off the step. Long and hard. Walker waits this time for the bounce. Can he turn Tippett inside out? He stayed with Tippett all the way, Brad Scott. Walker on the left. He's a beautiful left foot kick, a bit like Treadray was. So no move Tippett with Walker. I guess there's no other matchup.
Yeah, when your big fella turns onto his left foot and drills a pass, he's a very skilled player.
Treadray used to do that. I mean, he was better on the left foot than on the right.
Kick.
Well, the 2 goals for has probably made it not look as bad as what it could have been. 11 disposals for Walker. Petrie up in front, won that one. Knocked off it though. Douglas takes the footy. Long ball inside right, camped under it. Good mark. Never easy. Got close to the man on the mark. They want to move it quickly to try and beat the press. Henderson got high. Well done, Atley at the back. Swallow. Now they're away through Thomas. Handball didn't quite get to where it needed to go. Higgins recovered well. Swallow back to Higgins. Good chase from behind. Brown got him. Great pressure, Adelaide.
14 of the last 16 inside 50s for the Crows. Basil mentioned the word pressure, and that's what they're applying. It's...
Yeah, the pressure of actually winning the footy, Macca, but then when the Kangaroos get the footy, their pressure is just as intense to win it back.
Talia. There's going to be a lot of football intelligentsia watching this match and Phil Walsh's first effort as a coach.
Yeah.
Just seen what sort of a blueprint he's brought to the Crows in the pre-season. I spoke to a club captain yesterday waiting to come home from the championships. He told me that Adelaide had the best pre-season of any club. He doesn't obviously play for them, but I found it intriguing that he would tell me that.
How did he know, Bruce?
Douglas to fall forward. He might be a better judge than most of us at the moment. I'll get his tips for the championships tomorrow.
That's right.
Behind.
Yeah, looking pretty good at the moment in terms of, I mean, we know that really the last quarter of round one, you never seen players looking so tired, but Adelaide just building the lead before the extreme fatigue sets in for both teams.
So Ferrito kicks to himself, hardly called his name all afternoon. Good mark in front. That's terrific by Smith. What a player is the All-Australian. He kicked into Bastanak. McDonald ran into pressure. Now look at the Adelaide players go to work. This is where they have been quite superb. They've given away a free kick though here.
Adelaide are also running at 81% efficiency by foot and hand. They're just dominating the game at the moment.
What are you seeing, Jude? I mean, you're right down there. What are you seeing that's different about them?
Oh, you can feel that forward press. Their pressure has been enormous. It feels like the way Port Adelaide dominated Richmond here during the finals.
It's a good analogy, actually, Lee. We were here that day, weren't we?
No, that's true. That's the way the game has been played at this point. They've been winning the contest, bursting clear from the congestion and just pinning the Kangaroos on most occasions when they actually do rarely get the ball in hand.
That was bad luck for Wright. He stuck the boot out and somehow off the boot and out of bounds on the full. Goldstein at the back. Big fly. Didn't quite mark Harvey on the forward handball. Came out from Higgins. And now the counter-attack is on Van Berlo. Well done, Wells. Got him.
Pushing back.
Well, maybe a bit unlucky. Wasn't the full push, but enough according to the umpire. Jensch has missed the mark. Higgins, Harvey. Now there's not much in front. He pulls up and goes the short one to Petrie. And I think right now they'd be thankful just to have a shot on goal. Petrie goes quickly. They're outnumbered here. At the back, Harvey, not a great kick. He got Brown high.
I think important in that it looks like the Kangaroos were flowing forward, but the Adelaide got more numbers into their back 50 to protect that Petrie kick.
Just with Petrie there, it's easy for me, but I wish he'd done what Walker did a moment ago and take it on. He could have kicked it from there.
Try and kick the long shot.
Well, he had the breeze behind him. I think he could have scored from there. They just need a goal, and then another one after that. They need to hit the scoreboard. 16 scoring shots to 3. Is a true reflection on what we're seeing. Awful kick, that one, but a good bounce maybe for the Crows. Thompson, and that'll be a ball up. I reckon they're holding the ball, what I've seen in this first weekend, I think the adjudication's been good.
I don't think it's a whole lot different. The rule hasn't changed. All the umpires are doing is saying, well, if you've had prior opportunity, we're going to pin you for holding the ball. But frankly, that was the rule last year anyway.
Yeah, but that was the grey area, Lee, because some umpires or some circumstances, they'd let it go on long.
What you're saying is everybody's umpiring at the same, Basil. Let's say that in 2 months' time.
Well, halfway through first round, it does look a bit cleaner, doesn't it? Swallow, that's a throw.
Great job.
It wasn't called. And now over the footy, Brown. Comes out, McKay, hard at it. North Melbourne just desperate to try and tie it up. Dangerfield, brilliant. Charlie Cameron with the pace. And he'd go again here. Just couldn't get it cleanly second time. McDonald did well. Over the footy, Higgins, Dangerfield, Douglas, good tackle, Goldstein. Got the footy, got the man and took him to ground.
Where it was? Sorry. I was right behind you, sorry, mate. I didn't
the big ruckman just trying to lift his team.
Dangerfield's ability to keep his feet there was really impressive a moment ago. Henderson off a step. She's got onto that to fall forward. North with the numbers. Jenkins, Ferrito and McMillan. So that avalanche for Adelaide's dried up a little, but they keep on pressing here. North have been able to do nothing at the other end. Brad Scott was stirred at quarter time. He's not going to be happy right now. It'll be an interesting North Melbourne room at the heart. Hey, Jude, it was obvious.
Yep.
When you're talking to Scotty at quarter time, he was fuming.
Yeah, I felt like Mark Stevens talking to Mick Malthouse a little bit, mate.
Yes, Brad knows as a coach you've always just got to work out the method. What can you do? What kind of plan can you sell to your team to turn around what is just a really bad first half? Not act like a fan who's angry. That's the challenge all coaches have in this kind of circumstance.
Easy to do?
Very hard to do.
How about that? The last 10 scores in this game, Adelaide's way. Only one player for North Melbourne in double figures disposal-wise. That's Cunnington with 12. There are 7 for the Adelaide Crows. That's a high ball in and out of bounds on the full.
Thanks, Taylor. Back here.
Douglas. So
I'm just thinking, Basil, if the holding the ball rule doesn't come contentious, make the game a bit boring, wouldn't it? That's one of the most...
we'll find something else, Lee. We'll find something else.
It'll always be contentious, always was, always will.
Here's Joel Tippett playing game number 5 today. Into Lynch, that was awkward and in many ways sums up North Melbourne's first half. The pressure has been ferocious, nothing obvious to go to. And it forces the error close to half-time. Adelaide by 49 points.
Jacobs and Goldstein again. Jacobs lays it down. Betts held up. And then no in the back. Ellis Yeoman. Betts gets a little topo. Douglas held on to. Ball not quite there. Jenkins. It's like a rugby scrum. Someone's kicked it out of the air and forced over. 4 behind. Betts stiff there. He was held up on the burst from the stoppage. 9-9 to 2-1.
That's a thrashing in anyone's language, isn't it? 18 scoring shots to 3.
Yeah. North has not scored at all in this term. We saw a bit of that yesterday, didn't we? Scoreless quarter, but this is second quarter, not the last.
Very different conditions, I think, we're playing in. I mean, this is a really free-flowing game, being totally dominated by the Crows.
A half-century at the Adelaide Oval. And it's the Crows' lead with still 5.5 minutes to play in this turn. Swallow could be even further, and it may well be now. Right, running through the middle again, the pressure. Henderson, the tackle didn't really stick. Could have been cleaner. Gibson, Lynch, McMillan got him from behind. Swallow in front, and up it will come again.
The start of the game is always who can take the congestions away, the ball away from these stoppages. And I think it's 11-3 Adelaide way this quarter, so that's where the Kangaroos have to start trying to turn the game around.
And Swallow.
No secret in that, so not so hard to do. And
if you look at the Kangaroos, they've got great clearance players. Swallow, Cunningham, Zeeble.
But they're being dominated today. Yeah, dominated today.
Never forget that match where Swallow absolutely slaughtered Adelaide, and Eddie had himself in that opening term. He had career high that day, and his clearance total was phenomenal, but not today. Cheney, maybe manhandle. Higgins gets it to Cunnington. Well-weighted handball to Harvey, to Zeeble. Then Zeeble, clever looking kick though. The percentages were always a bit low. Yench, clever. Sauce, well done. It's been a terrific pickup, hasn't he, Jacobs? Henderson. They just know if Jacobs is fit, that's their ruckman. They can work around him. And
he's big and he's strong. He's running hard today to be a link player as well as just his ruck work.
Henderson, Sloan just on the ground. He flew for that mark. Eddie Betts couldn't quite get it cleanly. Sloan, well done. Van Berlo. Jacobs got an important hand in there. Dangerfield. Ellis Yeoman got better as the game's gone on. Terrific kick. Now, who was it intended for? That man. Get out of the way. The skipper's coming through. Short one to Lynch. Good footy.
It's a beautiful kick at the football. Walker, Tony Lockett, they always say, was a fantastic passer of the ball, but mostly in the game, all he had is shots for goal. But Walker's just a key position player. Jonathan Brown was like that. They're just beautiful kicks to teammates as well as kicks for goal.
Tom Lynch, one of only 5 current-day players who have kicked 10 or more in a game.
In fact,
goes forward instead.
In fact, kicking for goal today is what Taylor Walker hasn't been good at. 2 goals, 4 from his 6 shots to this point.
No, this was clever. I suppose North Melbourne could be forgiven for thinking the lead wouldn't come, but it did. They've kicked the last 7 goals of the game. This for 8, and goal number 200. The captain leading from the front.
Well, it's he could have 6 or 7 goals, to be truthful.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he's had 12. He's had 12 marks. He's had 7 shots at goal, so he's missed a couple of sitters. So very easily could have his half a dozen. It's been a dominant performance. As I said, if you have a key position player playing at that level that Walker has in this first half, you just reward your teammates up the field for their hard work of actually just winning the forward footy.
Well, Hollywood wouldn't write a script like it, would you? Captain for the first time, 12 marks in the opening half, 7 shots on goal.
Well, at 24 years of age, he's only just reaching his prime.
Well, he's 12 marks are more than anyone's taken in this entire round at the moment.
It'll be fascinating to see at the end of the year where he sits in the elite big forwards.
Coming out this way.
I mean, can he get himself into that sort of stratosphere and be an All-Australian? Well, he's certainly made a mark today. Dangerfield's been superb. He's had a lot of mates. Bouncing ball, Jacobs didn't do well. Cameron's quick, he's got Betts outside, and then Cameron decides to go himself and sprays it a bit, and it's a behind.
Well, he was in that ballpark until he hurt his knee, of course.
63 goals in that year.
So last year was very much a recovery from the knee injury. So yes, no, he looks absolutely prime, doesn't he?
57 points for Rito. Kicks to himself. They could be 10 goals in front, Adelaide, at half-time. I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams, any of the Adelaide supporters, full of faith and confidence and hope for the new season, could have imagined that. Walker! Not quite. Jenkins on the ground, gives it to Eddie. That's his 3rd. Adelaide have kicked 9 in a row, and they do lead by 10 goals.
And again, Lee, Walker to split the pack.
He did, yeah. No, that was the ball hanging in the air. That was just the genuine pack mark. And one of the things here, you got to make sure you jump at the footy, and Walker did that. So there's no way the Kangaroos were getting an effective spoil. And then when it's a random ground level ball, the Adelaide players just swooped on it.
So Betts has kicked 3.
You always say if your ball comes long and high in your foot line, someone has to launch themselves at the footy just to make sure there's not a big effective offensive punch away. So Walker was the one who filled that role.
Last 9 goals of the game is one story. 21 scoring shots to 3 is the other, Bruce.
Dangerfield to Sloan to kick the opening goal of the match. A second running bounce, no one coming to him. Decides to load up. Walker, goal! He's kicked another one, Sloan. Amazing stuff. Adelaide 10 goals in the last 10 of the match they've kicked. Well, they wanted to... That's the other story today. They wanted to build a fortress here last year. They didn't manage it. They've had a good start.
Well, they've got the foundations, Bruce. I think it's fair to say that this is a pretty good start to their 2015 Kangaroos. Pretty good's an understatement. They've just been outstanding.
Can you hear that noise, Lee? That's the alarm bells ringing around the competition.
And Lee, it does remind me of the quality of Port Adelaide late last year here.
Yep. Just really offensive, free-flowing, high-scoring footy. It's not just shutting the Kangaroos down, it's actually kicking 12 goals and a half of footy. That's great going.
As they say in the classics, do not adjust your sets. Adelaide by 69 points with 2 minutes still to play in this second term. Dangerfield inside 50. Lynch, that clever pass last time for Walker. He just stepped over and in it will come again on the elbow.
They've got some depth too when you think of the names that are out at the moment. Thompson, Kerridge, you know, those sort of guys as well. Podsy Adley if they need as well.
Betts with 3 goals. Walker on screen a moment ago with 3 goals for.
Crouch is the other very big out. Will come back in a couple of months.
Swallows kick. Not quite. McKay gathers. Back towards Walker. Well done Tippett that time in front. Jenkins good handball. Thompson got in the road. Jacobs the clearing kick.
To a one-on-one and then Laird chipped in. So well done by Talia there. Just to wrap it up, Petrie. So Laird just sits it. Betts will be the fly. Not quite. Jacobs. Cunnington. And Cunnington off a step. What can they take into half-time, North Melbourne? Thomas wanting to buy some time and space. Flips it back. D'Alessandro, good hands. Nothing coming easy, though. In the back against Sloan. Atley. Gibson. Normally these guys are prolific. They need a goal. They need about 10 of them. We know that. This is their best chance. Bastadak and Harvey. I think it's a goal. It's a goal to Bastadak. Well, it seems insignificant in a way, but just to get through the press, I mean, that's what you've got to do if you're North.
Well, the thing is about you'll get through the press 3 or 4 times a game, but for the rest of the game you can't score. So that's what the press is all about. Every now and again, the press up, the side will get over the top and kick a goal or 2, and you're always... And Kangaroos have done that 2, 3 times, but they've only kicked 3 goals because for the rest of the time, the ball just keeps bouncing back into the Crows forward line.
So 46 minutes since that last goal from Higgins, eh?
And that was their last score, Bruce. So they get a goal with less than a minute remaining in this term. And the new coach, Phil Walsh, is on his feet, heading downstairs already. Ellis Yeoman, he's lifted as this game's gone on, found the tempo of it in his second AFL footy. Jacobs gets it from Sloan. They might not be finished with yet. Right. Takes on Thompson. Van Berlo was the target. Didn't quite stick. Gibson, McMillan. Clock counting down.
Wait. Petrie on the left. Laird's been terrific in this opening half. So Adelaide close to the biggest first half they've ever had in round 1. They got 84 points against the Blues a few years back. There's Phil Walsh. It was the day that Modric kicked 13. Well, there'll be a lot of thoughts for both the coaches at half-time. I mean, but for the new guy, it's the perfect scenario. Much of the same he'll be saying to his players. Right, just so hard to maintain this intensity and also this control over a match, but it's been a remarkable opening half. Adelaide kicked 10 goals, 7 in 45 minutes of footy without a reply before the best.
Fantastic. Well, two things we like in footy. We like a contest eventually. There's no contest today, but this is a fantastic exhibition of the sport.
And Dangerfield's been front and centre. Down to you, Jude, with Patrick Dangerfield.
Paddy, complete domination across the ground.
Going to Chelsea and listen to Jose Mourinho, the boss there of the English Premier League side. He said at half-time he likes to give his players just the 3 messages. Doesn't want to overload them mentally, so you can imagine right now he's kept it simple with the Crows. The number 1 message, defensive pressure.
It's worked pretty well. Opening bounce of the second half, so can North stem the flow here? Make an early mark. Whirls to Cunnington. Cunnington's kick to the goal square. Running away, but Harding able to get back. So North didn't score anything for 46 minutes. From early-ish in the first quarter to deep in the second. Sometimes not an easy half to play when you're 10 goals in front. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's only one way to go in a way. I mean, can Adelaide maintain the rage, maintain the standard? Sloan, who kicked 2 first-half goals. So Harvey's free kick. It's impossible to think they'll be so dominant in the second half, isn't it?
Well, it tends to not work out that way because the opposition just have to find a level.
Higgins, Cunnington. So Cunnington getting involved a bit early. Higgins, he's already kicked 2, and that's a good-looking kick, and he's kicked 3. First game for North Melbourne today. Well, in matches, I mentioned Cooney earlier. Cooney kicked 3. A teammate of Higgins for such a long time, but the Bulldogs kicked 3 yesterday for the Bombers. Well, I guess he's almost done his job, Lee, hasn't he?
Well, he hasn't been in that part of the ground all that often, so the fact that he's been able to jump on 3 chances and kick 3 goals is just great efficiency. The ball just hasn't been in the Kangaroos forward line very often. See how he's a natural goal kicker, Higgins. He's a good kicker of the football, but he just sort of he knows where the goals are and just tends to be able to take the half chances.
So Zeeble now setting them forward again. This is a better start from North Melbourne. That was dangerous. Henderson had his legs taken out from under him. Waite came hard, but I don't think there's any doubt with that. He did take his legs out. I think the sub's been made too. Tippett for Gibson. We'll check that with the boys downstairs in just a moment. Here's Laird. Fires out a handball. Smith. Yench got it from Jacobs. Goldstein, well done. He was right there. They are playing better. Intensity's gone up. Wells goes to the pocket. Thomas, rather. The ball wasn't touched, I don't think. Getting back and making sure Brown and a behind.
That's right, boys. The sub has been made. Turner is now on, and it leaves now Ferrito on the dangerous Taylor Walker.
Okay, so Tippett, the tall defender, but Walker dominating him in that opening half, as we know. Tippett's brother, of course, well known here. That's a poor kick. Adelaide, Douglas, not so good, and the kick to full forward. Whirls, and also Turner going for the same ball. Whirls, little kick. Now Turner can kick a goal, and he does. Comes onto the ground. No, touch off the boot. Unlucky. I reckon Phil Walsh wouldn't have liked this 3 minutes so far.
No, they've actually had to come out and really find something in this first bit of the game. And the game is probably gone even on the scoreboard, but in terms of general play.
Tony, come back 3 metres. Hold now.
So the mark okay. Jacobs got it from Cheney. He's been good, Cheney. Douglas. We had a sloppy period in the opening term that's really improved since then and been A1.
Thank you.
And now Yench just held up by Turner.
Baz, keep an eye on Luke Brown here. Looks like he's heading to the sidelines with a bit of an injury to the right leg.
Get on your sodas, keep us informed. It's a long kick down towards full forward. McMillan did okay, then got in the road. And now bringing the football out nicely. North Melbourne do it okay. And that's a very good mark taken by Waite. It was Adelaide. Now Turner, he's had an impact, but that's not his best effort. And right on the line, it's just inside the field of play.
A couple of kicks for Turner early. So Brown off the ground. I'll be interested to see if Adelaide do make the sub. Lyons is their sub today. He's a versatile player. He can go back if they need him. So North have kicked the last 2 goals of the match. Late in the first half, early in the second. Goldstein brilliantly done. Thomas roved it well. North's intensity right up. Smith was clever there. He's going to sock it off the ground, then decided not to. Took the ball, but Millen cut it off. So North pressing here. Good response. Brad's got to be happy with his start. Sets it up. Wait. Not quite. Sloan was the defender, really, not Hartigan in the end. Hartigan was done, and it was Sloan helping out. Wait over the ball. And the ball up.
They've just got to cash in on a little bit of momentum here. They've had 7 inside 50s to 1 so far in North Melbourne.
So they're at their end of the ground. Goldstein, well done. Higgins, Dangerfield, very clever. Got it to Douglas. Douglas left it behind first time. Grabs it the second time. Kick, not great though. And Thompson camped under it. Can send it back in now. Is it a short option or will he go long? White is in the square. He pulls the kick a little. Siebel, well done, Jacobs. Drifted across. Made it a 2-on-1 and knocked it over the line. So the big game, the big ruckman.
There's Brown being worked on. He's a bit like Nick Smith for Sydney. He's a terrific small defender. Thomas.
High contact, North Melbourne.
It was good then, Thomas.
Thanks, Lindsay.
He got the movement through the contest, and as soon as you get to really attack the ball hard at ground level, it just puts the pressure on the tacklers. All the Crows guys went at him, but just probably one deemed to be a little high when he went, as he went to ground.
He draws them, we know that.
Yeah.
He's a mighty fine player. So looking for his 250th goal career. We saw Taylor Walker kick his 200th today. Averages exactly the same number of goals as Eddie Betts, within about 200ths. And he's got it home. So North eroding this big margin slowly.
Well, that's the only good news about being 50-odd points behind at half-time, as it is half-time. You've got 2 quarters to maybe try and wind it in, and that's the little challenge. The Crows, once you get to that kind of margin, think, oh, well, we probably subconsciously you should win it from there. But if all of a sudden that the Kangaroos can chip away, get a couple of goals, just try and withdraw the margin, then the pressure can marginally go back on the team that's had the huge lead.
So the last 3 goals of the game for North Melbourne. Is there a little spark here now?
They're on the first 2 centre bounces, so this is where it has to start. Can they get the ball forward and put the pressure on again?
Well, Goldstein right on cue, did brilliantly down to Swallows. Swallows kick favoured Henderson. Well done by the sub. He's on the ground. He got it to Higgins. That was well done by Turner. Now out wide. Bastanek bouncing ball Wait. Hartigan did well. It comes back to Petrie. It's a high, long shot on goal. 4 in a row, North Melbourne.
Now you feel like, hang on, game on, I reckon, don't you, Lee? I know they're back.
Yeah. Well, the emotional game is on. There's still a big margin, clearly, but all of a sudden the Kangaroos are now feeling much better about themselves than they did 5 minutes ago.
Well, we've seen
push the pressure back on Adelaide a little.
A couple of times this weekend we've seen teams come from a long way back.
Come from a long way back.
So 12 of the last 14 inside 50s, and more importantly, the last 4 goals, and North have cut this margin.
The Crows have to try and stem this fight back right here at the centre bounce, just to try and make sure they get the ball there forward at centre.
Ellis Yeoman goes to ground. Dangerfield cuts across in front of Cunnington. Henderson, but they're on the back foot, Adelaide. Cheney, Wells was terrific. Combative. Del Santo. And he's going to be pinged.
Dive on it there, Nick.
Hey, Soda's just a quick update on Brown.
Yeah, Adelaide doctor just getting the run up and down the boundary line. That right thigh is heavily strapped. They've had him on the bike just to keep it moving to see if he will be okay. It's a corky there. At the moment, Jared Lyons just sitting there eagerly, so I reckon they'll make the call in the next minute or 2 on him.
So Cheney. Adelaide going to centre wing is about as far forward as they've been for the whole half. North are probably 2 goals away from really feeling like they're a big chance. I mean, the players do, but in terms of our general expectation.
Great Mark Goldstein. He was outnumbered there. It was a 3-on-1 situation. It was a high ball, perfect kick in the end, and good Mark Goldstein, who's lifting. As are North Melbourne, the last 4 goals of the game. To the pocket. That's a very clever mark by Thomas. Wow.
It's the important thing in all those emotional, mental things that go on with the collectively within the teams. Mind now, the Kangaroos are playing better. Man, they're playing better than the Crows right now. Big margin to make up. But they're now the team that's making the play.
He kicked 45 goals last season. He's a very, very good player. 53 the year before. Of course, going back before that, he was a player who suffered quite badly from the yips. This for 5 in a row for North. Oh, that's a very good kick. Here we go. Game on. They're coming. And they've totally dominated this half, Lee.
Yeah, well, a 6-goal margin early in the third quarter. Clearly that is now doable, but they've got to be able to continue with this momentum. And now the Crows have to grab the game back. It's interesting who's in the centre bounce here. Jacobs, obviously, Sloan, Alice Yeoman. I'd be getting Dangerfield in there, I reckon.
Well, Thomas' second goal. They've kicked 5 goals in 13 minutes, counting that one of Basinac before half-time.
Have a look at the personnel in the centre bounce for the Crows. I'd be getting Dangerfield or Sloan's in there, but they need to just get the ascendancy back here.
Well, Cunnington to Dal Santo, short. And Thomas has kicked 2 in this term.
I'm just thinking Dangerfield's deep forward at the moment, but just at this point of time, you have to get your best centre bounce crew in the centre bounce to give you the best chance of stemming it at the source of Kangaroos have won every centre bounce to this in this third quarter.
15 seconds.
Phil Walsh is his first real challenge, I reckon, today, right now.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
Thanks, Eddie.
Certainly is.
Well, this is huge if he can kick this. This is the sort of margin that Sydney gave Essendon yesterday, and Brisbane were behind Collingwood, couldn't quite make it up. But this is manageable now if he can get this home. It's touched off the boot, so Sauce is going to have to get rid of it. I think he's gone.
They always give you a chance when you touch off the boot. It's almost like the holding the ball rule doesn't count because you think you've marked it.
I think he was lucky.
Yeah.
Goldstein, Bastanak, out on the full.
Adelaide kick.
Oh, this has been terrific by North Melbourne. At half-time, you just wondered if this match would just meander to a conclusion.
You mentioned that Collingwood were 53 points in front of the Lions pretty late in the third quarter, and the Lions got within.
And what about Sydney and Essendon?
Sydney's last quarter was obviously a domination, 7-6 to 0.
Henderson up in front, Jacobs. Over the footy now, Jacobs for North Melbourne. Comes up the back, Alice Yeoman got the ball away. Good little handball, the kick not good, and McMillan holds them up again. So, can they come forward? Well done by the skipper, Swallow. He beat the tackle, gave it off. Harvey did well. Swallow again, just a little blanket. Well done, Eddie Betts. That was an important role that he played there. They were coming again. Ferrito's free, I think.
Michael Ferrito high.
Taken high. He wants to go. So they've got plenty of run in their legs now. Suddenly it's North Melbourne up on their toes. It's like we're seeing 2 different games of football this afternoon.
And Thomas flies high. Wells, only the 4 disposals in the first half, but getting busier. Laird, well done, Atlee. Dal Santo getting heavily involved. Kicks to fall forward. Bastanak, Cheney. Well read by Hardigan. Cheney did the job. McKay coughed it up. Back, Gibson off the step. And gets it. And North are coming really hard now. It's official, they're back in business. Well, it's not a cameo comeback, it's the real deal now.
Yeah, it's been an amazing set of circumstances. I mean, same teams. They haven't swapped jumpers at half-time, have they, Bruce?
No.
They haven't swapped jumpers. But it's just a different psychology and therefore a different...
And Lee, I'm going to ask you about Brad Scott and what he might have said at half-time, because you talked about he had to take the fan away and just be objective. So this is just a little bit of what's been happening in the second half.
This is where it started. They're just winning all the centre bounces. So again, the Crows at this next centre bounce, I think they've got... I'd be getting Dangerfield in there, I'd be getting Sloane in there, get your best centre bounce players in there, because this is where Kangaroos have taken over the game.
Jenkins wins the hit out. It was coming out. Smith did well, got in the road. Jenkins. Now there's a chance. Ellis, Yeoman and Walker on the lead, and that's better from Adelaide. 10 consecutive goals for the Adelaide Crows in this game, and then the next 6 for North Melbourne. This to stem the tide just a touch.
Yeah, finally won a centre bounce, and as he's been doing so well, Walker just dropping into space now. Now the pressure's on to just stem the flow, to reverse the tide by making sure the opportunity becomes the 6-pointer.
Just the second inside 50 for Adelaide this term for his 4th goal. The skipper, that's what you want the captain to do. He stands up.
Well, that centre clearance is so important. But yeah, look, it is symbolic that Walker's the guy that's hammered the goal home, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a good leader.
Yeah, well, he was the target. Winning the ball at the crunch was the most crucial part of it, and the Crows did that. But Walker, as he's done so well, just took his 12th mark.
So Dangerfield goes into the middle.
Dangerfield's gone into the centre bounce. Douglas is still in there, and Betts, who is a bit of a bit part centre bounce player.
So forward to Walker, but Goldstein dominating there, got the best of the bounce. Del Santo to full forward, Thomas courageously, Cheney. Hardigan on the back foot, but did well. Back to Cheney, Jens to support if he wants. Cheney short to Jenkins. So Walker 4 goals for. He's had 13 marks and kicked 4 goals for. Colossal numbers, but North challenging. They're a long way back, but the whole momentum has shifted. Betts, we talked about the fact that he's been in the centre square a lot. Smith, beautiful kick to Douglas. Dangerfield's inside of him. Douglas decides to go to Cameron. Well done, McDonald. And McDonald did a great job there, because Cameron was always going to be dangerous in that situation.
Adelaide have to curb Goldstein. He's had 9 hit-outs this quarter, 6 to advantage. So he's just getting his hand to it and just putting it down the throat of their midfielders.
And yet Jacobs had such a good first half, didn't he?
Yep.
He's lifted the ruckman. Harvey doing the kicking in. It was a tough one. Del Santo was the target, so they're dangerous here. McKay now with his hands on it. Sloane upended. Didn't really have the football. Bastanak got him.
Held on too long, I think. Was that the umpire's call?
It was a good tackle initially. The ball spilt out, Lee, and then the tackle came. So no worries with that one. Sloane goes towards the pocket. Walker! How about that?
Now that's balance and body strength. He knew where the fall of the ball was going to be, but he had to take a step inboard to make sure that Florido couldn't actually get to the fall of the ball. See, he comes inboard, makes contact. Great body use under the footy.
His career high is 16 marks. That beauty, an absolute specky at the Adelaide Oval, makes it number 14. And he's kicking now for goal number 5.
Yep. Career high 6, which he's done a couple of times, Baz.
And he's best at the Adelaide Oval. This is to equal it. And he's kicking, well, in a masterful performance. It could be even better. It's 4 goals, 5 now for the big Texan.
Yeah, 9 scoring shots, 9 shots on goal, and probably all of them gettable, I reckon, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. A bit surprised Scott Thompson hasn't... I mean, he's had a variety of matchups, I know, Walker, but Scott Thompson is their best defensive defender, and Walker is winning the ball so easily up there.
Jacobs, Cheney did really well. Down to you guys at the boundary.
The sub's been made, Bruce. Luke Brown, his day is done with a corky there. Jared Lyons on, pretty handy sportsman too. Jared plays golf off 7. Good cricketer playing a charity 2020 game over summer. He caught Steve Waugh in an absolute blinding catch in gully, and off the long run bowling, former Colt hero Wayne Wiedemann.
Gee, Sodas, that's good information. Where's his best place on the footy field, do you reckon? He can play anywhere, can't he?
He's good. We've seen him kick a few goals in the past match, so he's out there firing up and ready to go.
Gee, Dangerfield was important there. Van Berlo just missed the target. Gibson Terrific contest going on. Here's Lyons at the moment. Betts read it pretty well. Knew that Turner was one of them. Betts slung away. Turner's been good. Whirls. Cheney into him. Whirls. Hot footy right now. Real contest. Well played, young Turner. He was the youngest player on the list, anyone's list last year, and he hasn't made an impact since coming on.
He's ferocious in the football, there's no doubt about that. Here's Harvey, ran into trouble, had to retreat. Back to Thompson, who spills the mark. Tough one now. Lynch was coming at him. Jacobs needs to be clean. Well, he got it to right somehow. I'm not sure that it was clean. Thompson now for Rito, and they've done well to stand up under pressure. Here's McDonald, a good young player. How about the kick? Not terrific. Douglas marks in front of Turner now. He can go to the outer side. There are players on. Eddie Betts is on his own. He's got a runner inside in Sloan. Will he use him? 2 bounces. Now 3 for Eddie. Assesses the option. Has a 4th. Gives it to Rory. Pumps it over the top. Jenkins.
Good use. He was good, Betts then. He was approaching the 50-metre line. I think he was wanting to get inside 50 and have a shot, but he knew he was on the angle. Sloan got the support. That's good forward use. All 4 players picked the right target, and he ended up having a shot for goal from 45 degrees, maybe 30 metres out.
Rory, that's your line. Mark's right here.
It was a beautiful build-up by Eddie Betts. It was just a question of whether he hung onto it maybe a little too long or not. But in the end, Sloan to Jenkins and now to Laird. He kicked just 2 goals last season, 3 for his career only. And he's nailed it. That's an important goal for Adelaide, really important. Their lead's back to 44 points.
Yeah, good response. Interesting bets, Lee. It was talked about pre-season. So does know a lot about this. In fact, they might play him up the ground a bit more into the mids. And
well, he's been the centre bounce on a number of occasions, so they're clearly not going to go thinking of him as just purely a forward third goal kicker.
Well, I feel like we're watching a good TV show at the moment, a good movie. And what is your, thinking of Presto, what is your favourite?
I went for A Few Good Men.
And why not? Jack Nicholson gets one of the great coaching speeches of all time.
Absolutely.
So, 30-day free offer. Betts, up the ground Betts again. So, in that centre square, so a different role. A real veteran now, Eddie. And so does... it was tipped that he might play a little more midfield this year.
He was so dangerous up forward, though, Bruce. Now he's got that Eddie Betts pocket just in front of the scoreboard there. He has spent a little bit of time there in the pre-season. We saw him even down back a little earlier in the game, but he's been so dangerous up there and a great foil to Walker.
Just thinking, Lee, it might have been like a few good men for the North Melbourne players at half-time from Brad Scott. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. But they came out hard. And their improvement has been marked in their second term. Now McMillan across half-back, still driving. It was a very good kick, and the mark taken by Cunnington. He dishes off to Nicky Dell. He goes short. Oh, Cheney, very good mark. Higgins was the target. Maybe better off just blazing away then. Gee, Cheney's been good, and McKay's kick to Lynch. Was it on the line? Out of bounds on the full.
Umpire in a good spot. You know, Cheney has been terrific. He played 9 games last year, 4 the year before, 6 the year before that, 8 the year before that for Hawthorn. So, and something similar at Melbourne. So, oh, that's a terrible bit of play by Wells. You don't see that too often. Cut off by Wright. Cameron will be hard to catch. Wells tries to corral him now. Cameron sets it up. Walker's not in a good spot. Ferrito takes the mark. It was a poor kick. And then Ferrito. Atlee's a running carrier, but this is Thompson. Atlee in front of him. Now he gets to Atlee. Atlee held up, good tackle, swung around. Van Berlo corralling Thompson, pushes him in the back. Free kick to the North Melbourne defender.
Brilliant tackle by Smith, wasn't it?
Yep.
Just a bit unlucky there, Adelaide. But the free kick was there.
It's not easy to get down, Atlee.
They've so markedly improved their tackling, chasing, just the whole intensity of the football, the Kangaroos. I mean, that was sadly lacking in the first half, but they've picked that up. So now this is a really good contest.
Goldstein, Jacob, speaking of really good contest, that has been a beauty. Ellis Yeoman with a handball up the line and over it goes. So it's just a bit of a breather now for everyone, isn't it? North Melbourne ferocious to start this third term. And with 3 and a little bit to play, North, another 1 or 2, probably need 2 to be in the game. Goldstein did really well there. Uses right. Here's a chance now. Talia and Petrie. Favours Talia. Petrie right there with him. Interesting. Well played by the big fella, the 33-year-old. Petrie got his handball away to Higgins. Clever fist. Van Berlo clean bowled. Zeeble comes again. Here's Thomas. Thomas clever. Got away from Jensch. No, he didn't, the umpire said.
Gee, Jensch was good because Thomas was really trying to turn him inside out. What a great quarter of footy this has been. I mean, North came out steaming and Adelaide now responding. It's just a contest, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happened. They just were a little bit sluggish early third quarter. The Crows, the Kangaroos knew it was now or never. And they won those centre bounces, kicked the 5 goals. But now the Crows have kicked a couple and all of a sudden have stabilised the game. Not blitzing like they were in the first half, but now fairly even Stevens in general play.
Atley on the burst, getting from Cunnington has been terrific in this quarter, and that's a beautifully weighted kick. And this guy is having some sort of a debut. It's been a little cameo role. Higgins, so 3 goals.
Yeah, you're right, Michael.
And coming up for his 13th disposal.
Super work from Adelaide there, just to change pace, cut them up and just deliver inside 50. North Melbourne have actually butchered the footy going forward the last couple of times. So that was a really quality entry.
Well, in good hands here, Jude, and they need this. A goal here, and you feel like they've got something to really work with at 3/4 time in terms of winning this match. Holding the line, holding the line. He's kicked 4 goals. That's a big, big debut now. It's funny, he played down back nearly the whole of last year. He was a forward for most of his early stages, and they've obviously decided to use him forward.
Everybody's trying to find a half-back who can use the ball really effectively, but if you can't defend really well, the ball use doesn't matter a whole lot, I reckon. And I'm not sure whether Higgins was a great defender, but as a forward where his goal kicking, his goal sense becomes a strength, he's a very dangerous player.
Sean Higgins with 4 goals last time he kicked 4, April 2009 against the West Coast Eagles. So they got 1. We're back to 38 points. Can they get another with just over 2 minutes to play in this third term? Would make it really interesting. Eddie Betts with other ideas, but well done, McDonald. What a good young defender he is. Swings the handball to right. And now up the line for Zeeble, who drops what he had on his chest, and now a careless high ball. So Adelaide are in here when they shouldn't have been. Right. Takes the mark, and oh, Brad Scott will be furious with that. Talia pushing down.
He's been good, Talia. He's been mostly on Petrie. Very clearly won that contest.
So just over 90 seconds remaining in this third term. Good fist away. That was well done by McMillan on Sloane. And Zeeble cleaner that time. Got it to right. Around the corner. Bouncing ball midfield. Big ball to win this one. And Bastanak wins it.
Bursts through. Kicks to Harvey. He's had very few chances today. Henderson's quick. We know Boomer is well played, Harvey. Can he turn him around? Henderson corrals him. Did a great job, Henderson. Right to cut it off, perhaps. Cheney, Harvey a second go and kicks it out on the full. Ricky Henderson, well played. Even at nearly 37, Boomer's not easy to corral.
Yeah, well, no, that's right. He's still got his speed, as we've said, Harvey, but he corralled him. He just made sure that the boundary line was going to protect him, make sure that he couldn't. He was always going to turn him. He was going to always try and turn him, but Henderson played it well.
He had one attribute, Henderson, which was important. He's quick. You've got to be that to do that to Harvey.
Jacobs stood up, couldn't mark. Ellis Yeoman got it from Talia, gave it back. Now Dangerfield. Petrie chasing him. A goal here, Adelaide, would be massive. Absolutely massive. Lynch plays on, goes to Charlie Cameron. Here's their chance. Pops it over the top, Eddie Betts. He's got a man on Jenkins. Kicks for him. Jenkins marks. Great play, Adelaide.
Could have mess it up, but Betts actually was just making Jenkins go to the open field. Jenkins, as long as he kept his eyes on the ball, Betts was going to find him. Here we see Harvey, just really well played by Henderson, just made him, didn't allow him to turn, but Betts, have a look at this. He knows exactly what he's doing inside space, so that the North Melbourne defender just can't get to Jenkins.
A really important player for Adelaide. He kicked 40 goals last season. This is his 10th disposal for his second goal. Won't quite call it a game killer, but it will make it very, very difficult for North Melbourne if Jenkins can slot this one.
Siren's gone, so it doesn't matter. You can take it. No, it doesn't.
So Josh Jenkins after the siren. It's going to be really hard for North now. 44 points the margin. 15-12, 102. North Melbourne 9-4-58. Adelaide wrestle a little back that they lost in that third term. North Melbourne better, but it's Adelaide's game to lose now. Back with the last quarter right after this.
Well, again this quarter.
Fatigue's pretty interesting in round 1 too.
Yeah, no, well, the chasing pressure's going to drop off, because that's almost automatic, so it's a question of obviously which side wins the ball first, but then you just got to maintain possession because you get killed on the turnover.
Phil Walsh's first game in charge of these Adelaide Crows. Can he get them home? Dangerfield out of the middle. Start of the final term. Down to Walker. Ferrito there. Just a chop of the arms. It was clever. How about that follow-up from Dangerfield? It deserves a goal. Beautiful. It's already one of the goals of the year. Oh, boy.
Yes, well, as you said, Baz, he cleared it from the centre bounce and then collected it from the scrimmage in the forward 50 and kicked the nice left foot goal. I mean, sometimes it's not so much the free kick. There's a fantastic finish from this point. Left foot, non-dominant side kicked the goal. But he was the one who got the ball to that part of the ground in the first place. It's a double whammy. Fantastic effort by Dangerfield.
Oh, he's some sort of a play.
Yeah, he's been great.
I think everybody in Adelaide's just thrilled a bit. So probably a few people down at Geelong are smiling. I shouldn't bring it up, should I?
When will the new hospital be finished, and is Patrick staying? That's the big question here in Adelaide.
What a game he's played, Lee. I mean, he's
been good, outstanding.
So Swallow, Cunnington, well done, Douglas. On the left, Walker tries to split them all. McDonald. What a fine young player he is. And a boundary throw in.
He plays with such penetration, Dangerfield. He's had his 23 disposals, 14 kicks, but the metre gain stat, he's by far the highest metres gain player on the field because he gets such penetration with his ball carry, his run, and then his long kicking.
Well, in the Brownlow, he's had 21, 22 and 23 votes in the last 3 years.
Yep.
You'd feel one night he'll have it hanging around his neck.
It's noticeable.
Probably like a fairest and best as well, wouldn't he? Yanch, long ball back towards the square. Ferrito, not sure if he hit the ball. Walker, swung on to the left. He's kicked 5. A handful for the Texan in his first game as skipper.
Leave it. Michael, out of it. Rory.
The Adelaide crowd will love this. A little bit of bare-chested from that big fella.
You'd take the time putting your shirt back on if you look like him, wouldn't you?
He's definitely taking his time to put it back on, Bruce.
Hey, Jude, you're pretty happy when you've done the hard yards in the gym when this happens.
He's got this crowd eating out the palm of his hand at the moment.
He didn't rip his own shirt off.
Like Dangerfield or Walker or Dangerfield or Walker. Who's putting on a clinic today, those two?
Who gets the 3 votes from you?
I think Dangerfield for me.
Think about it, Lee. So Dangerfield for Jude. So fantastic response here from Adelaide, from I guess their 2 highest profile players. Sloane, well, he's the 3rd musketeer in that popularity contest. He's a beauty. Thomas. Now can North respond again? They were very good in the 3rd quarter. Well done, Talia. Gee, I tell you what, Talia might get the coach's vote. He's been brilliant. Laird goes back. Right, or rather lines off a step, poor kick, and Ferrito takes the mark. Talia has been superb, hasn't he?
He has been fantastic, yep. No, He's not emerging, he's All-Australian last year, but one of the younger forwards, defenders that have just come through.
Harvey to Swallow, back to Harvey.
Bastanak now. His handball not good for McDonald. Bastanak tried to get it back. He tripped Dangerfield, I reckon. No free. Lions carried forward. Jacobs as well. They've been terrific here, Adelaide. Lynch stands up for them as well. The kick, though, didn't look, just a kick in hope. And the mark taken by Scott Thompson. And he'll slow things down for North Melbourne.
No closer.
Cunnington, haven't seen a lot of this, Lee, to be fair. There hasn't been much slow movement of the ball.
Both sides have actually tried to move it quickly, which is why there's been like 17 goals to 9 scored.
McMillan's kick was a dangerous one for Adelaide, but it got there. Ditto that handball. Jacobs did all right, though. Long ball down towards the 50. Thomas just overran it. Well done, Yench. He's so cool. Good in this situation. Thomas came back hard with the smother and over the line.
There's an element that early in the season players are playing under a lot of fatigue because they're not match hardened. And sometimes the type of football in the early part of the season is kind of the argument for the spectacle's better when players are a bit tighter.
Yeah.
Because the defensive, but as players get match hardened, the games tighten up because the defensive work rate becomes greater.
Lee, I think one of the other things, the conditions are so good here today, aren't they?
Yeah, well,
compared with, say, a recent night match.
Yep.
So Walker's kicked forward to the 50. Ferrito's got Betts hanging on to him. He was good, Betts. His closing speed important. So 44% of his disposals inside the forward 50 today. Last year it was 58%. So it has been up the ground a lot more. He's still got 3 goals.
It's been a lot of centre bounces.
And still managed 3 goals.
Yep.
So Jacobs and Goldstein, been a fantastic clash.
Swallow, bottom of the pack. Well done, McMillan. Good tackle, Laird. He's a tough customer, Laird. Douglas, the high ball. Back towards Jenkins. Eddie Betts went back with a fly.
Against Walker.
With a North Melbourne free kick. And it is Ferrito's. That was courageous by Eddie Betts. Del Santo, short one. Harvey, good mark at full stretch.
Andrew Swallow just making his way to the bench now. He looks pretty sore.
Good on you, so does Del Santo now. Follows up, running hard. Waite. Hardigan with him. Interesting this one, the 33-year-old. Giving up some ground now. Well done. Henderson arrived to support. Waite's done well as well. He came back hard. Hardigan in the end, the numbers telling the story for the time being anyway. And Smith is such a composed defender. Cheney's been terrific on debut for the Adelaide Crows. And that's a great mark by Ellis Yeoman.
Just his second match today. He's done enough. Smith is such a class act, Basil, you're right. I mean, he had to clean up the mess that was being made around him a moment ago. He had a breakout season, but I don't think it was a one-off. I think this guy's going to be...
He's just a good young player, just approaching his that early 20s prime.
As he coughs it up, which is so unusual for him. So Turner, the 19-year-old.
Del Santo on the wing. He's trying hard, Del Santo. This is his 17th disposal. Beaten in the midfield. He hasn't been alone in that area. They had their moments in that third term. Petrie flew high then. Zeeble at the bottom of the pack. Talia again, well done. McKay, Laird, Walker. The kick not good for him. Thompson came back hard, right, waiting down. And he sinks the slipper into this one. Henderson, a good fly, and the recovery even better. He takes them on. Go, Ricky Henderson. Away he does go. Perfect kick for Cameron. Lands on his chest. Now he's got Eddie back in the square. Jenkins shorter, doubling back towards the boundary. Eddie needs to control it. He's got it in his hands. What's the next move? Wrong foot's Ferrito. Can he finish from there? No. Just rolls across the line. And a boundary throw in. Well done, Eddie, though. 3 goals today, 17 disposals. He's been a star.
No doubt. And we said before, a lot of his footy's been up the ground today. But he's still been able to kick the 3 slow and well done. And Laird just can't quite get the hook. He's been very good, Laird.
That's it.
Brown the injury today.
Yeah, Lead's been the marker for Brent Harvey, and it hasn't been a flowing game for the Kangaroos. So Harvey's worked hard, but certainly hasn't been able to have any great effect on the game.
I think Adelaide's got a pretty good group of smallish defenders, and he's one of them. Smith's a medium, and he's the standout, but Brown does his job as well.
Throw, Jared White.
So the old Crow throw that time. So White hasn't really made a mark today, has he?
No. The ball hasn't been in his end of the field all that much, but Hartigan and Taylor have both been really good as the tall defensive roles for the Crows.
McMillan's kick was terrific. Onto the chest of Wright, inside the centre square. That's what he's got up in front of him again. Adelaide pushing back, pushing hard. The press is on. It's been effective. Excellent kick, and McDonald takes the mark. Now Thomas plays on quickly. He's got Gibson running. Long ball, Petrie caught behind Talia. And Talia, his reputation continuing to grow. We're only one game into the new season. We know how fantastic he was last year. That kick, not terrific. Cunnington marks, but he's been great today, Lee.
Yeah, no, he has been good. Now, they look pretty well balanced, the Crows. Their key forwards are pretty good, or certainly one is really good in Walker. And Hartigan and Talia look like they've got a very competent tall defenders.
The North hasn't had much luck left of screen today. They had one scoring shot in the second quarter, and that took forever. And this is their first real go on goal, and the last Cunnington's kick won't be a score. Direct leg. Crows had all the flyers and bounced through for a behind. What sort of a marker do you reckon round one is? I think both the Swans and Hawthorn lost last year in round one, and they played in the grand final, didn't they?
I think that's true. I think it's always nice to have a really good win in round one, because it just gets the morale going. Even though they get the 4 points, obviously, back to the win, but it just makes the team feel good if they have a really good result in round one.
Henderson to Hartigan to Douglas. Very good mark, and they're away now. Here's Charlie Cameron. He can get and go. He does go. Does he go short? Eddie again. Maybe just a little too Eddie conscious that time. Would like to have seen him at full flight, perhaps take it on. But it's a behind, and that lead back to 56 points.
69 points at one stage in that second term. Dangerous kick, but a good one. Dalsando on the end of it from McDonald. Ackley, Wright, their dashes off half-back. We just haven't seen much. Speaking of dashes, Henderson has been very, very good to Van Berlo. Henderson off a step, squeezing it forward. Walker outnumbered, Harvey getting back, and then kicking wide and effectively to Gibson. And then Gibson, Turner. He's done enough. He's the only teenager out there for either team, and cops a high one up the front. Going to be a good player, this boy. Controls the kick to Higgins, couldn't quite take it. Gibson check sides for goal and just misses. Behind. We heard about his story at half-time today. And that long journey to AFL, and hasn't missed a match since he debuted. 61 consecutive games.
Yench has been good today. Just his 11th disposal, but done everything required of him. There were 2 footies on the ground momentarily. Got rid of one of them. Jacobs, big fly. It's been his day. Goldstein was busy early. He's got a man on. Hasn't seen the longer option, but he does come short. That's okay. McKay's got it. Now sideways back to Hartigan. Jacobs and Goldstein. Lee, have you seen that one?
Well, yeah, they both had their moments, but I think Jacobs has got the honours on the day. Certainly early in that third quarter, Goldstein's ruck work was outstanding in the centre bounces, but I think in general, I think Jacobs has been more influential.
Terrific kick. Yench to Sloan. The switch was on. That's a good mark. Goldstein going back. Cameron, he needed the ball released earlier. Kick into the middle of the ground, and Atlee.
And Atlee bounces off Walker, and then running hard. Good handball, Zeeble. Back to Gibson, and then Gibson with a neat kick to Thomas. He's had a pretty good second half, Thomas. Had no opportunities really in the second quarter at all. He's one of the better small forwards in the comp. He's probably in that top half a dozen, I think, wouldn't you?
He's very dangerous. is capable of kicking half a dozen on his good days. As Eddie Betts is down the other end, they're both very talented. But Betts has had another string to his bow today, hasn't he? Being a genuine on ball at times.
So Thomas hugging the line, unfortunately, and never really getting it off the line. 45 goals last year. He's actually kicked slightly more goals than Eddie over the last 3 when you do the cumulative totals, but they do run parallel in a way, just that Betts has played 50-odd more games.
Well, even today, Bruce, 3 goals for Eddie, a couple for Lindsay, another shot on goal there. That time out of bounds on the full. Lyons has got the footy, started as the sub. Tough one to mark. Heading down McKay, that was well done. Ball up the line from Jenkins to Eddie Betts. Here's Eddie again. Now, they're just held up here a little, so he might go backwards. Does that to Lyons. They've got numbers 3 in the middle of the ground if he decides to risk it. Not that time, and Laird likes his game today. Been really good. Hard at the footy. No one quite on the mark, so just advances down the line. Jenkins, who started a lot of this off. Eddie Betts was cruising past. Just needed clean hands then from Jenkins on the deck. It didn't quite come. But Adelaide, 55 points up, 9.5 minutes to play. They're going to be well satisfied with their round 1 output under a new coach in Phil Walsh and led by a new captain, Taylor Walker, with 5 goals, 5.
He's had a remarkable match. Wells, good hands, Del Santo. Swinging handball, terrific. Gibson been busy in this term. Back to Attlee. And Attlee imploring Higgins to run on to it with weight. So the 2 new guys with Hartigan against them. And Hartigan, that's a beautiful handball, actually. Talia off that step. Lynch, good mark. They've got a bit of marking power here, Adelaide. Lynch, he's still not the complete package, Lynch, but he does provide something. Dangerfield outnumbered. McMillan. Kick into the centre, Bastanak. Jacobs. This took too long. Henderson's got better as the match has gone on. Now the fat side gets opened up for the Crows. They can run and carry. Walker had a huge match, we know that. And that kick to space is good. Pick up by Dangerfield was brilliant. Kick not so good. Off the side, Wright gets in and takes the mark.
So Wright called to go and does so. Not a good kick. Gibson. Oh, Cheney. Terrific. He's just been outstanding today.
Look at a game next week. He's done a good job.
Looks like he could well slot into this back 6 for Adelaide. Yench now. High ball. Jenkins the target. Had his hands on it. Couldn't quite complete it. McMillan did well. Here's the Texan for 6 in his first game as skipper. This will absolutely lift the roof off. Right back on the line marks.
It's good stuff though, wasn't it? So Gibson, now it opens up for the Kangaroos. Some quick movement. Cunnington to Waite. To Higgins. Higgins with 4 goals. Back to Waite. Both first gamers for the Kangaroos. Hartigan's got better as the match has gone on as well. Sloane. Short. Van Berlo done enough. So what's the reaction going to be like in your hometown after a performance like this?
There's been a lot of hype over summer, of course. New CEO, new coach, new captain. It's all come together beautifully today. Don't forget, too, Scott Thompson has to come back into this side. He played an SANFL practice match against West Adelaide as he overcomes a hamstring problem. That was yesterday. He had 22 touches in 3/4 of footy, so he could be a big inclusion against Collingwood next Saturday night against Collingwood at Etihad Stadium, that is.
Well, Scott Thompson, but he's a certain type. I don't know if his Eddie Laydown was there to add to their midfield mix of size and pace and, you know, in ball getting. He'll have to earn his spot back, I would have thought.
Well, interesting stuff again, and good point you make, perhaps, Lee. I mean, he's been such a club champion over the years, hasn't he?
He's been a really good player, but in terms of their midfield mix, again, he tends to be a ball winner, can get the ball in space, but he's not a ball carrier. He tends to be an accumulator of the footy, so he'd slow the Crows' midfield down a little, I would have thought.
Interesting observation. So Adelaide's draw there looked Collingwood, Western Bulldogs, Melbourne, and then Port Adelaide. So Smith banging, Walker, he's got it. He's got 6. What a day. Equals his career high.
just thinking ahead. Could you imagine if Port Adelaide and Adelaide get together in about 4 or 5 weeks' time and they're both in pretty good nick? It'll be some sort of a match, won't it? Yeah. This has been a good effort by Adelaide.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you know, all in hope the Kangaroos would have a sniff and really get some energy into the game at some point. They did that in the first 10 minutes of the third quarter.
And Lee Smith, fantastic. What Tex has done today is put a marker down and taken really the pressure off the any controversy about the selection.
Oh, well, yes, I don't. Well, certainly his performance has justified him being the captain. But the captain is about much more than individual performance, and that's why he's actually been given the role of all the things that we don't necessarily see from the outside.
9 marks inside 50 today, Welsh, for the skipper. The last Adelaide Crows player to do that was Scott Welsh back in 2005, and North Melbourne have taken just 5 marks inside 50 as a team this afternoon. 9 of them for the new skipper. 6 goals, 5, as Bruce said, equaling his career best. It's hard to imagine today.
He's also doing what good forwards do. Don't worry about handballing. He's had 20 disposals, all kicks. 20 kicks, 15 marks, 6 goals, 5. Big day.
Just a perfect day for the skipper and a perfect day for the new coach, Phil Walsh. And Bruce, not quite a full house today. I should imagine if they can beat Collingwood next week, how big will that crowd be against Melbourne the following?
Absolutely. Siebel, does he get the right angle? It's coming back. It's behind. Yep, but
what's impressed me about Adelaide today, they've had 2 20 kicks, 1 19 handballs. In other words, they've moved the ball by 2 for 1 is still a good ratio to really move the ball quickly. That might be dependent on the opposition pressure not being great, and it hasn't been today from the majority of the time by the Kangaroos, but their foot skills to move the ball's been outstanding.
Ellis Yeoman. So he's the guy, Lee, Ellis Yeoman, that would probably kick Thompson out of the side if you think about it.
Very different type of player.
Yeah, but midfield.
Yeah.
But Thompson, I think, will certainly stake a claim this week.
We've spoken about their draw. It's a pretty easy start to the year, actually. They only played 3 games versus top 8 sides from last year before the mid-year break, so it's a good start.
Petrie with a lovely long leg. Has it held the line? No, just misses.
Jackie.
Just the 1 goal for Drew today. Real veteran, getting close to 300 games himself.
He did come 6th in their club championship last year, Scott Thompson, so I guess you would think when you're fit and well, there'll be a spot for you.
Yeah.
Brodie Smith to Jacobs, a couple of the real match winners for Adelaide today. It's hard to find a player who's lowered his colours. There's a few of them just dropped their guard a little in that 3rd term, but overall, Yench and other have been superb.
Of course, there's one forgotten member of the Adelaide team, that Brent Riley, of course, who had the terrible accident pre-season, has been a fantastic club man. We'll be watching on with a great deal of interest today.
He'll be enjoying this, yeah. We wish him all the best for his recovery. Smith's kick, not great.
So, what's the situation with Riley?
Well, it was obviously a plate he had inserted in his head a little while ago when he did have that fractured skull. So they haven't made any commitment. They're not even thinking about him returning to football. He's been around the club a little bit over the past few weeks and certainly been buoyed up by all the support from the players, but I wouldn't be thinking about him playing football for a long time.
So Petrie snap after Dangerfield and belted away. And just finally, the Sodas, is Thompson an absolute automatic selection these days or not?
Well, he would be certainly when he's fit, but like Lee said, obviously their midfield mix at the moment is absolutely fantastic. When Phil Walsh spoke during the week, he was a little cagey and you almost had the feeling that Thompson would be at least included in the squad, but he didn't do that in the end. The other one is Kerridge with a hamstring, and he's probably a week or so behind Thompson.
Good on you, Sodas. Terrific job today. And what about this? Brodie Smith through the middle. He's had 4 bounces. He pops it over the top for Walker for 7 for a career high. Unselfishly, the handball instead. And Charlie Cameron bangs it through. That's his first.
That was a fantastic run, wasn't it, by Smith? He just charged out of the back up, but he always looked like he was in control. And then at the end of the running, the bounce, when you run and bounce the footy, your forwards really never know what you're going to do. So you've got to find the target. And he actually missed Walker. Walker was about to mark the ball 40 metres out, but ball bounced in front of him and he had his first handball for the day.
I thought
popped it over the top.
I thought that was Basil was referring to his first. It was a handball, but not it was Charlie Cameron's goal, was it?
Well, both.
It's a good handball.
It was, absolutely.
Beautiful handball, beautiful.
His skills are huge, aren't they?
Yeah, no, he's a very talented player, Walker. We know he's good in the air, we know he's a good mark, but he's got beautiful disposal skills as well.
What is it to the North Adelaide end for North Melbourne today? It's been an absolute drought down that end, hasn't it? Douglas sort of cuts it off Laird. So Adelaide really finishing it off. Betts. Gee, they've had some good players. Betts is one of them. Dangerfield and Walker would be 1 and 2. Van Berlo off that step. Kicks to the pocket. Cameron versus McDonald. Betts and Cameron, they work so well together. And Charlie across the ground and out on the full. He's got something, Cameron. He's just 20 years of age, but he's got some real gifts.
Got agility and ball skill and great balance.
Oh, so exciting. From Swan Districts in the WAFL. Club that gave us the Narkle brothers. Nick Nat Nui from Swan Districts. Excitement machines, all of them. Lyons got his handball away. High ball in now, Henderson, but offline. So out of bounds on the full. McMillan still barking the instructions out there. Wants some run. What will they salvage from this game, North Melbourne, do you think, Lee? Zeeble, good mark?
Not a whole lot, except they found I guess they could say from the positive, when we really started to win the footy, move the ball quickly as they did for the first 10 minutes of the third quarter, we can play okay. That's really the lesson for them from the game, I think.
Sorry,
it's another of those games that they are expected to win against teams around them that they have dropped.
And we might look ahead to their next 4 games, North Melbourne, to come, Lee, so have a look at those.
Brisbane next week, they should win that again, where they are on the ladder. Port Adelaide's tough, and Geelong and Hawthorn are 50-50 at best.
Well,
not on today's form, probably. They're 50-50, but
that looks a tough draw. That does look a tough draw. If you don't barrack for them and you're completely neutral, I reckon you take 2 and 3 after today when you've got Port Adelaide, Hawthorn and Geelong amongst it, wouldn't you?
Sloan, he's been courageous all day. Eddie Betts has been outstanding. Had a couple of bounces. Here's Walker. He's outside 50. So for 7 for a career high. Passes off to Jenkins instead. And Jenkins has kicked 2. Well, this will be a handy return, won't it, from the 2 tall forwards. 6 from the skipper. And potentially now 3 from Jenkins. 9 from the Twin Towers. Any team is going to be hard to stop when the tall timber can bag that many.
Nothing like handing a few over once you've kicked 6.
Well, career high beckoned, but this will be a nice finish for Jenkins. So he kicks his 3rd, and Adelaide now with the biggest lead of the game. It's 70 points.
Walker's had 14 score involvements, Lee, today.
No, he's been outstanding. I mean, really, I know Jude loves the midfielders. Well, I like the key position players.
No, he's brought his own football, hasn't he? He's been unbelievable, Tex Walker.
Well, the 22 disposals, 15 marks, 6 goals, 5. I mean, that's just an outstanding performance. If any key position player can get those kind of numbers, unless you're standing in the goal square receiving uncontested marks or something. I reckon when you're playing forward of the footy, as he does with an opponent on you, every mark's a contested mark.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get off your opponent to get into space.
Yeah.
And he's had basically 18 of those in total. 18 marks.
It's a great way of looking at it, isn't it? So, why do you always make sense, Lee? Anyway, Douglas on the burst. So Adelaide really finishing this off now. And then kicking wide to Cameron. It'll be a hard team to get into next week, I think.
Oh, did they please that well?
And Betts.
Hasn't their use of the ball into the forward 50 been just outstanding? I mean, there was a lot of players back, a lot of Crows players, a lot of Kangaroos players, but Cameron wasn't who had the ball in hand. He just waited till a Crows player presented into the space.
So Betts over 20 disposals, 3 goals.
15 seconds gone. Yep. Hold there, short.
How sweet it is, eh? What a start for the Crows. Betts kicks 4. Walker's got 6. Dangerfield and Sloan have starred. They've all contributed. Well, we might be seeing the start of something pretty special from this club this year. A long way to go, but they could not have had
An outstanding exhibition. The contest in the game, it was there a little bit midway through the third quarter, but then the Crows snuffed that out. But at the other part of the game, I love it when a team is playing really good football, kicking a good score, just the exhibition of the sport. And they've been outstanding today, the Crows. Just been great to watch.
If you take those 6 goals away from North, Adelaide have kicked 21 of 24 goals. I mean, it's been total domination. So the last seconds in what has been a monumental opening game for the Adelaide Crows here in season 2015. Everything they have touched has turned to goals.
Get 21 goals from 60 inside 50 entries. If you get anything like 1 out of 3, that's about you. It never gets much better than that. That's just been fantastic.
This would just be ridiculous now.
Yeah.
Well, if he goals here, this will be the high score for the Crows at the Adelaide Oval. He's a long, long, long way out. It's a long, long kick. And it's a behind. So the icing was already on the cake. And Tex, well, he's well named because he's big. So Adelaide over North Melbourne by 77 points. Let's go down to the captain with Jude Bolton. Jude?
Yeah, we've got the skipper here. He's
So it's been 21 years since the Crows have been on top after round 1. There's a good chance I'll be there. Well done.
Tonight, the public shaming